let me express my sincere regret to our shareholders. We cannot afford any delay in investments on future technologies and product developments. We believe that this is the right thing to do in order to transform our business to ensure steady growth and increase the corporate value of Nissan.
I know my mic's working.
We take the situation very seriously.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, okay.
In order to
I'm feeling good about my
share
settings
the pain
now.
with the shareholders who have to give up the dividends and
like
our employees who are coping with challenges and restrictions, including temporary shutdowns.
It's on. I promise you, live stream's on.
The top management decided to reduce and give up part of the executive compensation upon the compensation committee's approval.
Can you hear this lady talking about?
I would like to present the business transformation plan, Nissan Next.
Yeah, my wife has even it's paused.
Since Nissan announced the Nissan Power 88 midterm plan,
rarely
the company
now. I used to
has
stream
been pursuing a strategy of expansion with a focus on emerging markets based on expectations of growing demand.
You do something that you haven't done in a while, it changes, everything changes. So I'm glad that you guys can finally hear. And I'm sorry that, and I was wondering, why are my viewers down so far? It's because my settings weren't right. So yeah, I'm glad to see the chat blown up now.
About 2 years ago,
my wife
we
is going to be a little bit happier.
From this expansion strategy. However,
giving me a hard time
with a situation where we have a global production capacity of around 7 million units, but annual sales of less than 5 million units.
I'm going to be quiet so we can listen.
Our business and generate a profit under these conditions have been extremely difficult. For Nissan to overcome the situation, we must admit our mistakes and correct course. We must resolve the issue of redundant assets from which we do not expect sufficient returns. We must therefore prioritize and focus by constantly allocating resources to core markets and core segments. Nissan is determined to take all these actions without compromise. The key focus of our plan is to ensure steady growth instead of pursuing excessive sales expansion. Concentrate on core competencies while enhancing the quality of our business alongside financial discipline. And restore a culture defined by Nissan Nest for the new era. By focusing on these areas, we aim to build a business foundation by the end of the fiscal year 2023 that is robust enough
Put in the chat, what does Nissan Nest mean to you? CVTs?
Nissan is focusing on two key areas in the Nissan Next. The first
vehicle,
is
a company
rationalizing
that
the businesses.
has lost its
in
ways.
this area, we are reorganizing operations from which we do not expect sufficient returns, reducing excess production capacity, and carrying out structural reforms. Specifically,
Japanese
we are
quality origins. I don't know. What does
production
Nissan
capacity,
mean?
rationalizing our global product lineup, and through our efforts to optimize other expenses, we will significantly reduce fixed
I don't know
costs.
for Nissan
The second area is prioritization and focus.
Sadly.
Here, with robust management, we will make ample investments to deliver a solid recovery and steady growth in
we'll hear more about
identified
it on mid.
core
I'm not going to tell you exact date. I would say
let me now provide more details on how we are
about
rationalizing our businesses.
Nissan Ariya.
The reductions we are making in production represent a 20% cut globally in the 7.2 million unit capacity that we had in the fiscal year 2018. We will move to a 5.4 million unit production footprint under normal production shifts. We will close our production plant in Indonesia. We intend to close the Barcelona plant and will begin discussions and preparations.
I'm telling you, Nissan's out of Europe.
On the product side, we are streamlining our portfolio down to core models. By concentrating our resources in the core models, we are able to develop products with greater value and competitiveness. We will also lower the average age of models,
I really don't think they're going to talk about Infinity at all.
4 years or less.
See this over here?
Specifically, by the end of the fiscal year 2023,
I'm good.
we will discontinue older
That's
cars and trucks as well as models
I don't think we're going to get in America.
A single region
That'd
and
be an
withdrawing
awesome
the Datsun brand
vehicle.
in Russia, reduce the number of models in our portfolio from 69 to 55. This represents a reduction of approximately 20% from the fiscal year 2018 level and will enhance our product
That's something that Tesla
competitiveness.
doesn't have. I think
We
Tesla
are improving
could
our
benefit
cost base
massively
significantly
from this
through
from,
various actions,
a small
including
commuter
reduction of
vehicle.
general
People
and
don't plan really,
expenses by
for the most part, people
15%.
who
We are
have a
reducing
Tesla,
fixed costs by
they also
approximately
have
300
an
billion
ICE
yen and will
vehicle.
work to maintain
But
that cost base going forward.
I would just love to have a
Let
fully
us look at
electric
our work to
commuter vehicle.
prioritize and focus in three areas:
100
markets,
mile, give us
products,
different
and
options. 100 mile range,
technologies.
120, 150 miles. I feel like the IMK would be the perfect
Nissan
commuter car.
is focusing on
So,
Japan,
I
China,
hope it comes to
and
America.
North America,
Bring
including
back
Mexico,
Gozen.
as
Yeah,
our
right.
core
That's the
markets
reason why
where we
they are in
concentrate
this whole
resources
mess.
and ensure healthy business operation. For the rest of the regions, we are
Nissan needs to stop fighting
maximizing
for
the
volume
use of
because
the
then you fight
alliance
for price and
assets
vehicles
and
suck. Well, that's
developing
what Gozen wanted.
appropriately
Gozen
sized
wanted
businesses.
maximum market availability, and that's why
We
they're
will
in their
withdraw
freaking
from
predicament.
Korea, where we see limited
They spread
opportunities.
too fast.
Japan is Nissan's
for
home
their own
market,
good.
and we are refocusing accordingly. We have a strong foundation that we have been
What
developing
happened to you,
over the
Nissan? You
years.
used to be cool.
We will enrich the lineup consisting of more attractive products with
GTR is still pretty cool,
practicality
though.
and advanced technologies
about
that
the rest
offer
of their
value to
cars.
our important
I got
customers
my
in
fingers
this
crossed
core
for the
market.
Aria, though.
In Japan,
Just put the
more than
RB26 and everything.
90%
Yeah,
of our
exactly.
customers appreciate our
Do you think
e-power
Carlos
ProPilot
Ghosn was
technologies.
right about
By
Nissan
focusing on our
bankruptcy and other
electrification and
issues?
autonomous driving
Possible. I don't know
technologies,
exactly what
we
he
aim
said.
to
I'm
build
sure he was
greater
crapping on the
brand
country. I'm
value
sure
and regain
he
market
doesn't
share.
like what's going on, and he got the F
As
out
a
of
starter,
Dodge.
Nissan
He's hanging out in
unveiled
Lebanon as
the
a criminal
all-new
now.
Nissan Kicks e-Power last Wednesday. Its sales
I
will
didn't
start
make a video
tomorrow on
on
June
this
30th.
Nissan Kicks
We are
e-Power, but I'll
counting
let her
on
talk
the
about it.
all-new Nissan Kicks e-Power to drive our brand and sales in Japan.
Oh, it's
We are
Japanese
going
car.
to hold the world
There you go,
premiere
July
of the
15th.
all-new
So
Aria
I wasn't going to
crossover
say
EV
it
on July
because
15th.
I didn't know if I was
The
allowed to say
highlight of the
that it was
all-new
going to be
Aria is the
announced on
fusion
July
of
15th. But there you guys
electrification
go.
and
It's going to
advanced
be
driver
announced on
assist
July 15th.
technologies that is expected to devolve into self-driving car
Revive the
in the future.
Skyline. I think they still make
The all-new Aria
Skyline, or
equipped
they
with
call
the
some
ProPilot
vehicles
2.0 advanced driver
in
assist
Japan,
technology,
so.
and the latest e-powertrain is
You
coming
hate the
to the home
robotic
market first
translator?
before
Yeah,
being
she's not
deployed
very,
across the world. We expect
not
the
very,
all-new Aria to play a key
charismatic.
role as a brand driver and the face of Nissan for the new era. Nissan maintains strong presence in the world's largest market, China, as we continue our healthy business operations.
Okay, whoa. Let's
China
look at this.
is expected to enjoy further growth and prosperity as
so
part
this
of
is for
our
China.
Nissan Intelligent
But you
Mobility
can see
strategy.
by 2021,
In addition to having 7 EVs in our
they're
lineup,
going
we
to have
will
very
launch
few ICE
our
vehicles,
e-power
maybe 3
technology
or 4
in core
ICE
products.
vehicles by 2021. The rest will be e-power or
In the
fully
United
electric.
States,
Oh,
over the past 2 years, Nissan has shifted its focus from fleet sales to pure retail and has been working to normalize sales. Although we are taking
EV,
significantly
so
more
Aria.
time than initially
Aria, of
expected,
course, is coming
we
to
are
America, but they're
rationalizing
not bringing the
further,
IMK here unless
including
that's this
reducing
vehicle.
fixed costs and the revision of the product plan to recover
New
our
Frontier,
performance.
that'd be good to see. I like the Frontier.
As we work to normalize sales, we are starting to see results from the launch of the new Sentra last year. On June 15th, we revealed the
There's no doubt that the new Sentra,
Rogue,
the
the
new
top-selling
Ultima, looks pretty
SUV in the
good.
market.
Not
The
gonna lie,
sales
I
will
actually
start
like their
this
designs
fall.
on that. I'm not saying
New
they're great
product
cars. I
offensive
don't
is
know.
starting with the new
Who knows the
Rogue.
long-term
We also
viability
have
of
a
them, but
series
they
of
do look pretty
enhancements
handsome.
planned for our SUVs and pickups. These include the new Pathfinder, the new QX60, and the new Frontier. Let me talk about our
QX55, yeah.
offensive
The
strategy.
QX55 is more like a
We are
coupe
introducing
version
at
of the
least
QX50.
12 new models
Whoa.
in the next 18 months. We
How's
are
that
applying
possible?
electrification and advanced driver assist technologies, which are
How
our
can you
strength,
release
to
12
more
new models
models
in
to
18
renew and
months?
enrich our product offer. By adding 2 new EVs, we are on track to launch
So
more
Chinese
than
only vehicles
8
right here.
100% EVs
Aria
by
is
the
going to
end
be
of the
in
midterm plan.
quite a few markets,
Another
mostly all
pillar
of
of
them.
our electrification strategy is e-power. As we expand our e-power
We're not
offerings
going to get.
globally,
Oh,
we
damn, that
forecast
makes me mad. We're not going to get
electrified vehicles to
the Kicks
account
e-Power
for
in America.
60% of our sales in Japan,
That's too
23%
bad.
in China,
Now,
and
we
50%
might get
in
something
Europe,
else. You see
resulting
all
in
these other
sales of more
vehicles
than
here
1
that they have
million units
planned?
by the end of the fiscal
Don't
year
know.
2023. Nissan is also a leader in autonomous driving in terms of product application and technological excellence. For example, the new Skyline is equipped with the ProPilot 2.0, which is the world's first advanced driver support
Hey Kirk,
system
what's up?
with
Didn't
a
you go
hands-off
live
function.
till saw the
As of
notification? Did I
March
miss
this year,
something
we have sold
important?
around
No,
700,000 vehicles equipped with
it's hard to
ProPilot
say.
features.
It's
Our
hard to say
autonomous drive
what's
system
important.
will be
There's a
introduced
ton
in
of
more than 20
information
markets
here
in 20
that I might
models
have to
in
make
20
another
markets by the
video
end of fiscal year
after this
2023.
live
Sales of
stream because
ProPilot
there's
equipped
just
vehicles
so
are expected to
much.
reach more than
And she's
1.5 million
talking
units per year by the
fast
end of
too,
the
and I'm not
fiscal year
really listening. I'm
2023.
mainly looking
So
at
far,
the
I have been
slides here,
outlining the
so-
business transformation plan and initiatives to achieve steady performance recovery through prioritization and focus. By implementing all of
LX20, my
these
pleasure, man.
actions
Thanks
and
for
under
watching.
certain economic and market conditions, Nissan aims to complete its strategy in the next 2 years and return
Skyline
automotive free cash flow
SUV
to a healthy
Skyline?
level.
No, you can't make an SUV Skyline.
By the end
That's
of
like
the fiscal
saying,
year
you know, make the
2023,
Ford
we
Mustang
aim
a
for our
electric
global
SUV
market share
crossover. You
to
can't do that.
reach
No way.
6% and our core operating margin to increase to 5% as a bottom line based on the equity method accounting basis, which
Can't pay
includes the
attention to the
proportionate
robot voice
share
either,
of
can
our
I? That's why I'm
Chinese
talking
joint
over her.
venture. We are resolved to take all the steps necessary without
This
any
lady is
compromise to
psycho.
rebuild
Yeah,
a solid
man.
foundation that enables Nissan to effectively compete for the next decade. This is an
Yeah,
overview
she's
of the
just
Nissan
like a
Next Business
robot.
Transformation Plan. Last June, Nissan transitioned from the board of statutory auditors to the 3 statutory
John
committee
Connor.
format with the
John
approval of the
Connor.
shareholders.
Thank you so much for
We are
subscribing.
increasing
Appreciate
transparency of
that.
decision
It's
making and
funny.
ensure quick
Every
and
single
agile
video I
business
always watch,
operation by
I
clearly
always ask for you guys
separating
to
execution
subscribe.
and supervision.
And John finally is caving in. So I
Nissan is
appreciate
working
that.
hard to restore confidence while recovering its performance.
Murano's dead? No, Murano's not going to die.
To finish, let me share some thoughts with you. In the past several months, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to change our lifestyles. I rediscovered that Nissan's long-term mission is to enrich people's lives through cleaner and safer mobility and energize the society.
This is the Aria, you know, battery pack thing
Nissan
here.
is
This is the
constantly
ProPilot
delivering
2.0.
new
This is
values to
Aria's
customers.
front.
To do this, we continue to take
Don't
on
know why they
challenges
have
and make
robotics here.
breakthroughs.
You know,
This
Toyota's
is
messed around with that too.
Nissan's
You know, it's a Japanese
DNA.
thing.
I am committed to put Nissan back on a growth track. Our pathway to recovery will not be a smooth one, yet Nissan is blessed with extremely talented employees. We are working together to overcome the crisis.
Redundant. I feel like the Ultima does 95%
What I want to see
everything
is
that
for
the Maxima
Nissan to
does.
retain its Nissan-ness. Nissan is about people focus and pursuing technologies and services, products relevant to customers. Nissan's electrification initiatives are not only for a better environment. Our technologies and products offer driving pleasure.
Nissan
This is
Nation
demonstrated by
Productions.
the
If you
new
guys like
driving
Nissan,
experience
he's the one
of
who
the
leaked the Frontier.
e-Power
Cool,
and the
man.
soon-to-be-revealed Aria, a car that offers an amazing driving
The
experience
new
and
Z
excitement.
could definitely have a 4-cylinder turbo option.
Our
It's
autonomous
possible.
driving technology is
think
also
I
designed
mentioned
to assist
that.
customers around the
Well,
world.
maybe not
The
necessarily a
COVID-19
4-cylinder, but I
pandemic
mentioned
has brought
in the
significant
video where I
changes to
talked
our
about how they
lifestyles.
need to
The
line
auto
up with the
industry
Supra.
is
They need
at
to
a
have
major turning point. Even in this
let's say
challenging environment, or
they could have
even
a turbo
in face
4-cylinder.
of
I
the
don't know
new
if they would.
lifestyle,
They already
Nissan
have a
intends to
turbo
keep on
4-cylinder
taking
in
on
the
challenges that only Nissan can to enrich
QX50,
people's
for
lives.
example. They could put
We
that
thank
engine
you
in the
for
base
your ongoing
Nissan 400Z
support.
or 300Z, whatever they call it. And then the 400Z would be the twin-turbo V6 that they have
with you
in
the item to be resolved
Q50
today.
Red Sport,
I would like to present the
Q60
election of
Red
12
Sport as
directors
well,
due
so.
to expiration of terms of all
Carlos
directors.
was in jail. Yeah, he was
Their
out
term
on
of office
bail,
for
and then they
all
snuck
of the
him out of
current
the country.
12 directors will expire at the closing of this meeting. In accordance with the decision of the nomination committee of the company, it is proposed that the 12 directors be elected to a one-year term, which term will expire as of closing of the
All you need is 2
2020
cars.
general meeting of
Just how Ma
shareholders.
says, a 3 and the 6. Nissan needs the Sentra and Ultima. I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with
The
that.
candidates
Sentra and Ultima is all
are
they need for vehicles. For, I should say,
Mr.
sedans.
Yasushi Kimura,
Yeah.
Mr. John Dominic Senard, Mr. Masakazu Toyoda,
Year's 2027.
Ms. Keiko Ihara,
Still waiting for the hybrid GTR.
Mr. Moto Nagai, Mr. Bernard Delmas, Mr. Andrew House,
Mr. Kirk Kreifel,
Ms. Jennifer Rogers,
I would not do this job. I would
Mr.
not
Pierre
do it.
Florio, Mr.
Nissan
Ashwani
cars
Gupta,
matter. I call them
Mr. Hideyuki Sakamoto, and myself, Makoto Uchida.
Makoto Uchida.
The candidates and brief records of their careers are provided on page 6 to 17 of the Notice of Convocation. This is all the item to be resolved today.
Before receiving your questions regarding the proposed items, I would like to talk about our dividend policy and executive compensation, as well as other items in which many of you expressed interest in the advanced questions we received by emails prior to this meeting. I would like to tell you about the dividend policy in the future. This time again, we are very sorry to say that we do not plan to distribute a year-end dividend for fiscal year 2019.
They're starting to realize
the company
that,
positions the return of profits to
none of
shareholders'
us needed
return
it.
as one of the
We're
important
all
management
suffering as a
policies and
result of
aims
it
to
because
distribute
Gozen
stable dividends
tried
considering the
to
level of cash
expand
on
too
hand,
fast,
the
and now they're
results and outlook
collapsing.
of profits and free cash flow, the necessary investment for the future,
the rise and balls, yes.
and other factors. But currently, the business environment
Yes,
is
it's been a long
extremely
time, and I
uncertain
haven't streamed
and
in
difficult
probably
for
2
the company,
months.
which is
I'm
promoting
going to be
the structural
streaming
reform
more.
of the business in
I just
addition
don't.
to
I
the
don't have a plan for
COVID-19
it yet.
pandemic.
I am going to be
It is our
unrolling
priority not to
memberships
slow down
probably in the
investment
next
in the
month,
future
so there will be
and to
custom
improve corporate
emojis,
value by fundamentally
custom perks for
reforming our
those
business
who
and
are
strengthening
members
our
of the
financial
channel. That'll
base
help
through steady
not only the
growth
channel
moving
grow,
forward.
but it'll help me
To that
provide
end,
very, very
we
unique
believe
and individual
that
coverage.
the minimum
Live
hurdle
streams is a
for
part of
rebate
it. I
dividend
don't
is
know
to return the free
exactly
cash
how
flow
I'm
in the
going to
automotive business into
unveil
positive and
or
return the net
unroll
cash in the automobile business to a
schedule the
certain
live
level.
streams, who I'm going
We
to
are
allow
aiming for
to
the free
watch,
cash
who I'm
flow
going to
to
allow
become
to
positive
comment. I
at the
don't know
latest in
yet,
the second half
but
of
I'm
the
very
fiscal year
excited. There will be
2021,
more
and
live
we will
streams
make
in the
every
future for
effort to
sure.
resume the return of shareholders' return as soon as possible. Your kind understanding and continued support will be highly appreciated. Let me talk about the executive compensation. Faced by the financial challenges for the fiscal year 2019 and the negative business impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, we made the following
If you're in
decisions.
the stream, thank you so much. I just saw your
For
Patreon
last
pledge.
year,
Appreciate
CEO
that to the
and
moon and
COO
back.
gave
You're a
up the
baller.
total
Thanks so
amount
much.
of variable
Freaking on. You
compensation
guys are
for
just
the
so
fiscal year
awesome. You guys
2019
are
that
so
they were
awesome to
entitled
me.
to while they served as executive
You guys are
officers.
amazing,
Some of other
amazing
executive
support,
officers gave up
amazing
their
little
variable
community we
compensation
have
for
here,
fiscal year 2019.
where
For the fiscal year
we
2020,
pretty much have
Nissan froze
the same
pay
mentality.
raise
We're
of
like,
the
hey
annual
Nissan,
basic
we
salary for
used to love
management
you.
and above, including corporate
You
officers
make
since
okay
April
vehicles.
for at
You
least
got a
6
lot of
months.
work
In
to do to
addition,
become
CEO
the company
reduced
you
his
used to
annual
be.
basic
So,
salary by 50%.
yeah.
Executive officers
Yeah.
other than CEO reduced by
Kurt, does the
30%,
new Z
and the
have to
rest
go
of the
directly against
corporate
the Super, or do
officers
they go a
reduced
different
by
way? You have
20%
to. You
for
have
the
to.
first half.
You have to.
The management members of the company
have to go against the
are
Supra.
united
That's
as
your
one
number
team
one
and
target.
continue to implement the business transformation plan explained today with unflinching
Got
determination.
It's not like a Miata the roll now with like a
Lastly, I
small,
would like to
lightweight,
talk about the
fun
third item.
roadster.
I would like to
No,
emphasize
this
on
is
what
a
we are doing
Japanese
to
coupe.
strengthen our
I know the
Japanese
Supra's
operations.
not really Japanese,
Nissan
but
is a global
they got to
company,
go after the Supra.
but Nissan
It's not
was
going to
born
be
in
faster.
Japan.
There's no way
Nissan's
it's going to
home
be
market
faster.
is here in Japan.
But
if the
maybe
home market doesn't get
it's more
better
tunable.
or
Possible. I mean,
re-energized,
the
the other
current one's
markets
pretty
cannot
tunable if you ask me, but
grow
I don't
stronger.
know.
We
They got to
strongly
figure out something.
recognize
Make
that
it at least
increasing
somewhat
Nissan's
competitive.
presence in
I
the
don't
Japan
expect it to be
market is
faster
of
though.
utmost importance.
But if it's a better bargain,
Specifically,
if it has a
we
6-speed,
will
game's over.
introduce to Japan
The
market
game is
mainly
over
competitive
if the new
models
Z
equipped
has a
with
6-speed. The
cutting-edge
Supra's lost at
advanced
that point.
technology such
That's my
as
opinion.
e-power
Who
and
cares?
ProPilot
Who cares
that
how
are
fast that goes
highly
0 to
appreciated
60?
by
It's about
customers.
the experience. And a
As a
6-speed
result, we
provides
would like to
that.
improve our brand value
and
and
it's about the-
restore
it's just
our
the
market
fun factor.
share. With
You can get that
regards to
with
the
a
new cars
6-speed. You don't
released
get that
last
with
year,
an
both
8-speed
Base and Skyline
ZF
won a
transmission
number
or
of
they have in that.
accolades,
Anyway, I'm not
including
going to
the
get too
Japan
fired
Car
up.
of
Every
the
time I
Year.
stream, Super
And
gets brought
today,
up, and I get
these
fired up.
two
So I apologize
are
for that.
remain strong.
Maybe not. No, I don't apologize.
While
Don't.
maintaining the momentum
Do you
of
think
these
Infinity
two
will be
models,
good
we
again?
launched the new Rooks in March this year. The Rooks have sold about 28,000 units so far.
I don't know. It's
and
really tough.
we would
Infinity
like to
could
translate this
die.
momentum to the new
I think it's
Kicks
more
e-Power,
likely
which
that
will
Infinity
be launched
dies
tomorrow. Furthermore, we will add
Then Infinity becomes what they were in the mid-2000s.
2 new
There's my
electric
honest
vehicle
answer.
models and 4 models equipped with e-power in Japan market by the end of fiscal year 2023, including the new crossover EV Ariya announced
Little Pony, I agree. They've lost their way.
Next
Goes
month.
into part
in
of
this
that.
way, in the future, we will continue to introduce attractive
The
new
rumors
cars to
that
Japan market
Volkswagen
to
could
strengthen
buy
and to
Renault,
expand the
Nissan
lineup.
soon,
First,
correct?
we will revitalize Japan market, which
they
is
would
our
buy
home market, and
Renault,
spread
not
that momentum to
Nissan.
the global market.
Or if you guys are around the world, Nissan.
We are now going to receive your questions, opinions, and remarks.
I've had grammar
the
police
motion.
on me lately on my channel.
In order to
you don't
smoothly
pronounce
facilitate the Q&A
Mazda
session,
is
I have a few
Mazda. It's
requests.
Mazda.
I will nominate
it's like,
questioner
yeah, you don't live in
order
America.
of the ticket
Everyone in
number.
America says Mazda. That's how we say it here. Anyways, I don't want to get fired up on that
So that
either.
as many shareholders as possible
Nissan,
can ask questions.
Nissan,
The number of questions and
depends on
length
where
of
you live.
time
It's the same
allotted
thing.
to each
Just
shareholder will
accept
be
that you're
limited to one
different
question
and we all
and to
love
be
each other,
asked
right? We
within
know what we're
2
talking about.
minutes. Questioners are requested to use the microphone in the center of the floor so that everyone can hear. You are kindly requested to keep wearing your mask while
Francis,
you
what
ask your
went wrong?
questions in order to prevent splashes.
Well, they're not separating from Renault
As
or
I mentioned
Mitsubishi
at
yet,
the beginning,
but
This meeting is broadcasted
it's
through
hard to
the
say.
internet.
That might be the
So please
long-term
state your attendance number
game.
before
5
asking
years
your
from now, they
question,
could separate.
and please try to be concise so
Infiniti
that we
collab
can
with
address
Lexus,
as
the
many
engine? No,
shareholder
no,
questions as
no.
possible.
No.
When the proposed items have been fully
Nissan
deliberated,
should use
the
Infiniti
Q&A
engineers
session
for
may be
Nissan
closed, even
products.
though not all
They would
persons
actually
who
be
hold tickets
competitive.
have asked
We'll see.
questions.
New Maximas should be all-wheel
Ticket
drive
number
with plug-in
1,
ability.
please
Yeah,
state your
here's the
attendance
disconnect.
number
Like,
and then
Japanese
ask your question. Thank you.
companies just baffle my mind. Like, the Lexus ES still doesn't have all-wheel drive, but you go down to the Camry and Avalon, oh, they
0021
have
is
all-wheel
my
drive now.
attendance
Yes, they're
number.
underpowered,
Before
but they still
asking
have
you a
it.
question, just one thing, Mr.
Then you look
Uchida.
at the Maxima.
I have a proposal
I believe
earlier.
it's only
Uchida-san,
front-wheel drive, and then the
you
Ultima now
said
has all-wheel
that
drive.
you
It's
will
like, wait a
end this
second.
session around
Isn't the
11
Maxima
a.m.
supposed to be
However, my
a better
proposal is
vehicle,
as follows.
and
What I
you can't
thought
get it
is
in
that
all-wheel?
today,
It just doesn't make any
just
sense.
look at the people who received the tickets to ask
Surprised
questions.
Infiniti's still
Please
there. Yeah,
take
part of me is
all
still
the
surprised
questions.
as well.
Because in this
Well, right.
COVID-19,
I agree with
didn't
John.
want to come over. I didn't want to show up.
Some people say
But
Mazda.
you generated more
In
than
America, we say
600 billion
Mazda.
yen of losses.
In Japan,
but we came
it's
here
Masuda.
to ask
At
questions
least
and
I
express
could be butchering
opinions.
that, but I
These
think
are the
that's
people
closer to
here
how it's
who
actually
are showing
pronounced.
up in this Nissan Hall.
Masuda.
And looking around,
think it's the
you are
correct
taking,
pronunciation.
preventing 3 C's, the close contact,
This is
the
Star
surrounded
Wars
place,
vibes?
and close
Absolutely.
space. You said you were going to end at 11 a.m., but could you extend it to 11:30? For example, base your decision, Mr. Uchida, please be flexible in arranging this meeting. This is my proposal.
You want to hear this crazy lady? Okay, I'll let you.
With regards to the
Yeah,
proposal,
Infiniti cars do look
given,
good. Interiors
considering
are
that
abysmal.
you have come, we are
CVTs
here ready
yeah.
to accommodate as many questions as possible. Thank you, Mr. Uchida. Let me ask a question. 1 question per person in 2 minutes. That was the limitations. So let me change my question. Compensation reduction. With regards to compensation reduction, as far as I understand, Executive Officer Mr. Uchida, you are reducing by 50%, and the rest of the 6 executive officers, 30% reduction. That's what you said. And 44 corporate officers reduced by 20% during 6
Oh yeah,
months.
so the V6
During
for
6
sure
months.
is better.
And with this, you are saying
But there's still no excuse, Chippy.
12 out
There's
of
still no
12
excuse that the
directors,
Ultima
those who
has
don't have a
all-wheel drive
responsibility
and the
of
Maxima
executive
doesn't.
officers. There are 9 of them. These 9 directors,
Yes, V6 is better. I
there's
agree.
no
100%.
compensation reduced for the 9 directors. And this is my question, by the
I
way.
think Doug DeMuro was right about
This
Infiniti when he
compensation
said
cut
they're
that
not
you
going
are
to last very
making.
much longer. No,
Ihara-san, who is chairing
I
compensation
probably more
committee,
agree
it
with
seems
that
like
than
you are
say, hey,
managing
they're
this.
going
That's
to
what
make a
I heard
comeback.
in the media reports. Ihara-san, you answered this question. My question
The
is
big
as
problem
follows.
is Infiniti's for the price it gets so little
Directors,
compared to
as I said,
everyone else.
those
Well, here's the thing:
directors, these 9
Infinity's
directors
lease
who
for
are not holding
dirt cheap.
executive officers' position.
Dirt cheap.
These board members, these 9 board members.
If you're comparing a
please reduce the
Lexus
compensation
to
of these 9 people. Oh,
an
before
Infiniti,
that, why aren't you
lease to
cutting
lease,
the
if you're like
compensation
looking
of
at
these
an
9
ES
directors
lease
who are not
versus
holding the executive
a
officer's
Q50 lease,
position?
an IS
You
lease
should do
versus a
it. I
Q50
absolutely
lease,
think that this is necessary.
Q50
More than
lease
30%.
will lease for
More
way
than 30%
less
of reduction of
than the
compensation should take
Lexus
place for these 9
vehicle, so,
directors.
Yup.
Ihara-san, what's your answer? And there's another thing.
But paying
Uchida-san,
cash, I would never pay cash.
Not
I
only
would never
reducing executive
finance.
compensation,
I would
but also
only
general
ever lease
employees, especially the managers.
Nissan probably as well,
this year,
but
in the
Infiniti
spring labor
for sure.
offensive, most of the companies did not increase the wage, but against the 3,000 yen demand from labor union, you agree to increase your wage by 1,000 yen. This is unbelievable. So managers, are you thinking about cutting compensation for managers? Toyota, look at Toyota. Last summer, Toyota decided to reduce the compensation of managers last summer. That's what Toyota did. So Uchida-san, what's your policy about the compensation for managers at Nissan? So as I said, Ihara-san and Uchida-san, please answer my questions. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to start with the question which is pointed at me. Starting with the current situation of Nissan, the responsibility of the top management, CEO, myself, and executive officers and corporate officers, the top management will be holding all the responsibilities. In the Nissan Next Business Transformation Plan, first we are focusing on solidifying the foundation business and bring Nissan back on growth track. And we, the executive officers and corporate officers, are sharing the pain.
You guys have to realize this lady is interpreting for every single person there at the meeting because they're all speaking Japanese.
As I said, for the rest
so she's just
of
trying
the
to keep
factors,
up.
This is not considered.
I don't give her too hard of a time because she's trying to do her best to not only interpret the language but interpret the passion and the demeanor of each person speaking. So
that's what we are determined to do. And going back to the first question, Ihara-san, please.
Thank you. My name is Ihara, responsible for the compensation matters. I appreciate your question. So
this
with
is a
regard
different
to
lady.
reduction of compensation for the executives, with regard to performance-based, and also with regard to responsibility of execution of functions, these are not applied
hey guys,
to
if
the
you haven't
directors.
press the like button, go ahead and do that. I know
applied.
there's more than
From June
25
last year,
people in the chat.
We have
so
shifted to a 3 statutory committee format.
Joe Taylor,
As a
yeah,
result,
throw
the
this chick a
board
bone.
and the 3 committees have
I don't speak
attempted
Japanese. I can't imagine what it's like
enhance
not only to
governance through very
translate
close coordination
the language,
with
but
regard to
also the
we're concerned about
the
correct
energy
requirement for
that's
whether
going
the
behind it,
officers
too.
can take appropriate responsibility. And also, as the board, it's important that as the members of the board, we supervise the
Oh, she took off the mask. Shit's getting real, guys. It's getting real. She took off the mask.
The challenge is to
gonna throw
improve
my
and
pen.
recover our business performance and also
Start
to
throwing
improve
stuff.
enterprise value. So that being the case, separation of supervision, the separation of supervision and execution, this is what is being required under the Company Act. For example, feasibility and the appropriateness of business plan being compiled by the executives. The role
Her
of the board,
get up is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can see, but she's got sparkles in that outfit. My
So from that
daughters would
perspective,
love that outfit. It looks a little
in
bit
order to clarify the
sailor-ish,
responsibility this
but
time
there's
around,
literally glitter in
with
there.
regard to business
And I would give her a
operation,
high five
business
for that.
execution,
That's pretty cool.
compensation based on responsibility. We have not taken any measures related to responsibility in relation to the execution of business. We would like to continue to take into
Steven
account
says,
the
Kirk, your
intentions
channel
of
is
the
great, man.
shareholders and the
Subscribed a couple
stakeholders.
months ago and a
It's
fan.
important
Thanks
that
so
this
much,
be
brother.
considered
Appreciate it.
in
Thank
the
you for
perspective of the
being here.
management. Would appreciate
I'll give
your
you a bow
continued
just like
support.
she
Thank
bowed
you.
to the
So you
person that
mean,
asked her question.
so
but
what's your
thank you.
answer?
Thank you. Thank you.
These 9
You're awesome,
directors
Steven.
had not cut their compensation. Am I right to say that? Yes. At the compensation committee, we had a lot of discussion on this subject. So we look at the benchmarked companies. We did market research. And with regards to the poor performance of
what's
company
confusing
and
is they're keeping the
impact,
same lady, but they switch
which
interpreters.
may translate to poor performance. Since
confusing.
this timing, compensation committee has been looking into this subject. Some of the people express opinion to reduce the compensation for the rest of the board members. So as a result of careful discussion, we look at the
In some
what
countries,
other
so there are laws
benchmark
that limit
companies
how
are
long
doing,
people can
as well as
translate.
the
That is
business
bizarre.
climate. And after all the thorough discussions,
Is that so you don't have like a biased interpretation? I bet that's what it is. So you have a more well-rounded interpretation. That makes sense to me, but that there's a law in it is bizarre to me.
Act. So in order to make it clear, we came to this conclusion. Thank you. So I'm asking you, just to make sure, so you're saying that 9 directors are not reducing their compensation. Am I right? Yes or no?
Oh, thanks, Corgan lovers. Appreciate you too, brother.
We haven't cut the compensation for the directors.
Don't know.
Okay,
Don't
that's
know.
fine.
Probably a dude. Like over 95% of the people that watch this channel are dudes, which doesn't surprise me. I think that's probably the main demographic.
Okay, let me be candid.
For car channel viewers is going to be dudes.
In June, you were
yeah,
appointed
Williams,
as
like, yeah, the translators
director.
have a hell of a job.
It's the same for Toyota-san, right? Nagai-san, you are the other one. So, my message is as follows. In these years, you have been with Mr. Gon. And you didn't do anything about the misconduct by Mr. Gon. You didn't supervise him. That's one thing that you
Joe,
should
thanks for watching,
so
man. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Cheers to you, brother. I love Japanese vehicles. I started this channel on Lexus and Toyota mainly.
Should be held responsible
but
for
I've always loved all of them. But
I'll let this compensation reduction.
I'll let this lady talk because it's funny.
Because we, the shareholders, do not have any dividends. You should share the pain with the shareholders. Because you haven't fulfilled your responsibility.
Travis is new here too.
Well, even if I say more, it'll be needless.
Oh, thanks so much for being here, man. I like Mazdas or Mazdas or Mazudas just as much as anyone.
Supervision, business execution.
Thanks for
make
joining.
Sure you are fulfilling your responsibility. Thank you very much.
No, she's got her own mic, William.
Thank you.
She's got her own mic.
Ticket number 2. Please state your attendance number.
Mazda fans are here in force tonight. I'm all about that. Guys, my favorite car I've ever owned was a 91 Mazda MX-5. Best car. Most fun car I've ever owned.
Audit committee.
I'll get another one. I'll get it. Guys, mark my word. What's today?
I have a question to Mr. Nagai,
8/28/2020. I, Kirk Kreifels, will have
today Nissan
an MX-5 showcase on the channel as my own vehicle in the future. Don't know when. It's going to happen though.
Despite this, in the audit report, it says that there is no significant facts representing violation of laws and regulations. That's what this audit report says. What does this mean? And what is the violation that I am pointing out? It's registry, commercial registry. Article 915 of Companies Act. Within 2 weeks, you need to make a commercial registration, right?
What's up, Brian? How you doing, man?
And last time, at the 120th Ordinary General Meeting,
we won't hear anything about the ARIA until July 15th.
And at that time, Saikawa-san, who used to be a CEO at the time, he admitted that this was
This is interrogation, yeah. I'm going to have to watch this again.
He apologized, saying that this should never happen.
I'm not having a glass of wine and I'm not talking to you guys. I'm going to have to watch this again and make a video on it.
He will not do the same thing again. And he will make sure you are doing things right. That's what he said at the shareholders meeting. And despite this, many times he is repeating this. For the registration of the directors, the registry.
How important is massive electrification?
If you look at Nissan's report,
Tausif Ahmed, how important is mass electrification in Nissan fleet?
It's not once or twice.
Important to their future success. Great channel, by the way. Oh, thanks for joining, man. Thanks for subscribing.
There were sudden replacements of the executives, and every time, most of the registrations.
At this point, I almost think the ARIA, the IMK, delayed. They're almost there to save face.
What is the reason behind this? Why are you neglecting this for so long?
Oh my gosh. All the shareholders are just ripping into the higher ups right now. It's really sad. But
format, I understand.
Yeah, I almost think the EVs at this point, yes, it's a glimpse into the future, but it's almost a way to save face for the company to keep the focus on something else where there are huge issues going on in the company.
But now you are violating this law so
focusing on a different product and looking forward instead of current.
And after the reorganization, the audit committee, I
Shareholders are
pointed
pissed.
this
Yes, they are.
violation last time. But many times, the company is violating this.
Yeah. No, Rafi,
But
I
you
agree.
haven't made
Yeah, she's
any significant
all these
remarks.
people.
At the
It's not
shareholders
she.
meeting,
She's
my question
interpreting
is
for
as
other
follows.
people in the crowd there.
At the
There's
shareholders
not that many.
meeting, you
but
admitted. Why aren't you reporting this violation at the shareholders meeting?
yeah, all these violations,
Or
all these
audit
things going
committee.
on, and it's
Audit
just swept
committee,
under the rug
maybe
from
you haven't
Gozen's
grasped or
regime.
recognized. You weren't aware
And now
of
they're
this
just
violation.
lashing out right now.
Your explanation, please.
はい、ただいまのご質問に
Thank you. With regard to your question, I would like to invite Chairman Mr. Nagai to respond
90
to this
accurate
question.
legend would be fun as hell.
Thank you for your question. So, with regard to the format of the registration,
Why do you
this
think
is an
Nissan's most
individual
important
matter.
model for
So, I would like to respond later on.
their most important
So with
model for
regard to
2021?
the
Oh, it's
fact
the
that
new
the
Rogue.
transition to a
And
three-structured
there's no
committee
questions
format,
there.
and the audit committee has been effective in improving
Carolina
governance. I believe that
Carolina,
is the concern that
depends
you
on if
have,
I'm
so let me
Spanish or
try to
not.
address that.
Meant to subscribe, but I
So with
give you a
regard
thumbs
to
up
the
every
report on the
video.
improvement of
Great
governance,
content. Thank you. Thank you so much.
They have specific
Yeah,
issues
William.
that relate to
William
38
nailed it.
items.
William's like, I
So
wish
we
I
would
could
like to
see the
respect
interpreter's
those,
body language as
items.
they are
And with
speaking.
regard to implementation
Yeah.
of these items, we have been
If you guys think
monitoring
I
the
get
status of
fired up, when you guys
implementation.
if you watched my
After transitioning to a
JD
three-structured
Power
committee
video, I
format,
got pretty
under
fired
the
up there.
governance format,
I'm a fairly
as far as the
animated
audit committee is
person.
concerned,
But yeah, imagine
have
these
been
interpreters. I just think of like
appropriately
an anime character just
monitoring
losing their
the
mind. I'm a big
activities
fan of
the
Dragon Ball, as you
executives as well
can
as the board.
probably see a Dragon
In
Ball
particular,
here.
when it comes
And
to
yeah,
internal
I can
audit
just see an
division,
anime character
in order to
losing
heighten
their
the
mind
independence of the
when
internal audit
the
division,
higher pitched
the audit committee is supervising
female
this. And also,
Japanese interpreter
we now
is just
have a
going to
system
town
whereby
on
we
them.
can provide instructions
Do I
to
watch
the internal
anime?
audit
Not as much
division.
as I used to, but
So, in order to prevent
Dragon Ball is
recurrence,
my thing.
it's important that we actively utilize the internal audit system and also finance, accounting, compliance, and risk
Yeah, Nissan
control
started going
related
downhill when they
divisions
partnered with
in the
Renault.
company. And also with
Yeah.
regard to
Well, I think
collaboration
it
with
started
audit
going
firms, we have been
downhill before
strengthening
that.
that.
That's why they
So
partnered
they will
with
be able
Renault,
to
and then it
detect
just
any
got
potential
worse.
issues, and also so they will be able to enhance the
George has
implementation
got a
of the audit.
2017
We
Infiniti
would
Red
appreciate
Sport
your
Coupe.
understanding of those activities. Now, having said
Those are
that,
cool, man. Awesome car.
going back to your
Carolina
question
owned
on
two
hand,
350Zs, but they better not drop the ball. Well,
this
the
is a
ball's been
matter
dropped.
which
I
we
hate
are
to break it
monitoring
to
at
you.
the audit committee.
They
With
could,
regard to the
doesn't mean
procedures,
that they can't come out
this
with
has
a
been somewhat
phenomenal
time-consuming.
400Z
That is
or
what
whatever
we've
they
heard from
decide
the
to call it.
executive side.
That
So
hope is still
therefore,
alive, but the company's really
so that there
struggling.
is no delay in the registration, we'd like to continue to monitor the situation accordingly. Thank you.
It's the same for the earlier question. Why aren't you answering
Rafi, my parents are from
question?
Lebanon. Maybe we can dig him
I
out.
pointed out that in this audit report given by
Referring to
audit
Gozen or
committee, why
Gone,
aren't you
however you
admitting
say it.
or recognizing that there's
But
a
is there
violation?
new Rogue
If you're
enough?
saying
No,
that you're
it's
not
not
going
enough. And I
to
talk
make
about that when I was talking about
violate going forward, but
the
you have to
Aria or
admit
Aria
that there was a
video.
violation in the audit committee.
The Rogue
Why
is not
aren't
enough.
You
They
saying
need
that in your
2
audit
or
report?
3
This
rogue-like
is my question, but
vehicles
you're not answering my question
to save
yet.
them right now.
Oh, thank you. So, according to your answer, you said that registry, you recognize the delay in the registration.
Honorary suicide,
You're aware of the
seppuku?
delay in registration,
what it
but
is,
you pointed out to the
seppuku?
business
Honorary
execution
suicide?
side, but this is not rectified. But this is unnatural. The delay of the registration is unnatural. One example, Mr. Gupta. Mr. Gupta. Looking at his
Yeah, seppuku. I
registration,
nailed
as
it.
a recent registration, it said on December 1st of 2019, you assumed the position.
Yeah, the 300ZX
But
is my favorite
registration
ZX
of executive
personally. It doesn't
officer
mean it
took
was the
place
best
on the
made
January
vehicle. I just like
16th
the
of
looks of it,
2020.
the idea of
It's
the
1 month
T-tops,
late. And on the
frickin' twin
same
turbos.
day,
So
uh,
sick, so sick.
on 25th of March 2020, he became a representative executive officer. On December, at the board, on the very
They
day
need a new
you
design language? I don't think so.
decided to appoint Mr.
I don't think
Gupta.
they make it.
But
They don't make
executive
bad looking
officer
cars.
And director, why are registering
That's not the- I don't think that's the
it on
issue.
the separate days? Executive officers
Public
and
relations,
representative
maybe,
executive officers,
but
were they decided on
I don't
separate
know.
days at the board meeting,
goes
especially
in
for the
is sitting
appointment
in
for
a chair
December?
laughing. Because he burned the ship to the ground.
For Uchida-san, as a representative executive officer, he assumed the position on the very day. On the 17th of December in 2019, this was registered. Why for Uchida-san as a representative executive officer,
What are my
your
thoughts on
registration
Carlos Gozin?
was done within December,
I don't
but
know,
not
man.
for
I don't
Mr.
know
Gupta,
enough about the guy.
who assumed the position
I just
on
know
the
the
same
state
day.
of the company
Why are you
that
delaying the
he left it
registration for
in?
Mr. Gupta
And
for more than a month?
He claims that he's innocent.
This is very
claims
unnatural.
that he
Please
ran,
explain why this is
or
so
the
unnatural.
company was against
the dates
him.
are totally different
I
between
mean,
the
I
two
think
gentlemen.
he was the one that burned it to the ground, but I don't know. I'm not
With regards to
judge,
that question,
judge, jury, and
we wouldn't say
executioner for
this is
him.
not
So,
as material, so this
Gerald,
is not
what's up,
indicated
man?
in
Or
other
Jarrell?
report.
What's going on?
Nagai-san is whom I want to answer. So I want Nagai-san to answer this question.
のですね、
With regard to the registry that you raised in your question, as you pointed out, yes, it is a fact that it has been a time-consuming process. And I believe that the execution
they do
side
have more
is
than
now
3
making
SUVs in the
various
lineup.
preparations as far as we're
You got the
concerned.
Kicks. You can call that a
So that will be, so
crossover.
that we would like to make sure
You
that
got
with regard to
the Rogue,
execution,
you got the
we will
Murano,
monitor
there's
the
3
situation
right
so that
there.
this
You have the
procedure could be done
Pathfinder,
in
and then you have the
expeditious
Armada.
manner.
That's at
Thank
least
you.
5.
監査の方
Please ensure strong audit so that this will never happen. Understood. Thank you for your opinion, sir. Ticket number 4. Please come forward to ask your question. Please give us your attendance number and ask your question. Thank you.
Goes and sucks, but at least he kept his actions, kept Nissan name in people's minds as the cheap, reliable Japanese car. Also, we've already gotten
0025
forgotten.
is my attendance number.
His only crime is stealing
US
profits.
and China
I don't know if you're trying to
sales
downplay
volume
that,
in these markets
but he also
are still declining.
embezzled billions
And
of
for
dollars.
China, I
So,
understand that other car
Travis,
makers
donating
are
to
working
the
hard.
chat, donating
so
to the
Nissan's
channel,
sales
donating to the
proportion in
luxurious
China
fleet.
is
Thank you so
falling.
much.
That's my
What car model
impression.
is likely to go extinct
And what I want to
that
tell
you would recommend people
is that
buy
share
if
price
financially
is less than
able?
400 yen. It's
Lexus
300 yen
GS.
level.
There it is.
In February at the shareholders
100%.
meeting, you said that you are going to keep
Buy a Lexus
500 yen
GS.
per share as a
going
share
extinct.
price.
Should buy it.
However, in reality,
Better yet,
there's a
if
big
you have the money,
drop.
buy a GSF. Why not?
As Nissan Motor
Get the
Company
5
Limited, what are
liter
you
2UR
doing
GSE.
on the share price side, stock price? Uchida-san, what's your policy around the stock price? What are you doing to increase the value of share? Thank you for your question. Yes, share price. How to bring share price to a healthy level is what the top management is working on, focusing on as a mission. And in the Nissan Next Business Transformation Plan, we are
Well,
setting
Jacob,
forth
yeah,
achievable
they sell a lot of
objective,
vehicles, but they don't make any
challengeable and
profit on
achievable
them.
sales
That's the
objective.
issue.
And after setting
The
this
volume
sales objective,
goes in one volume,
we are
volume,
making
and then
our
eventually
financial
he thought that it would
stronger.
pay off.
In the
They
past
start to
years,
make
we
a
have
profit
been
eventually, but they
announcing
expanded too
financials that we
fast
have been
and they
making
lost
profit
too much money
warnings
too fast, and it just
many
collapsed on
times.
itself.
Therefore,
So
for this time,
yeah, you
what
see
we
Nissans
showed
everywhere,
you as a
and
forecast
to
is
me,
the
I see
level
what I
that
would
is
call
feasible, achievable.
not
the
your
level
highest
that we can
dollar
deliver.
clientele driving new Nissans.
This is
it's
how
it's
we
a
would
budget
like to
car at this
restore
point.
confidence in the market.
They've
If
made
we
it a
restore
complete
confidence
budget
of the
car.
market, the share
They're not
price
making any
will
money
come
on
back.
it. It's just it's a payment
So
car.
this is what we would like to implement. And as you said,
Yeah, that's all I
in
gotta
China
say.
too,
It's sad.
there was
It's sad
an
that they
impact
become
of
the cheapest,
COVID-19,
one of the
but
cheapest cars you
it
can
is
buy out there.
growing year on year in the past 2 months. So together with all the regions around the world, we are trying to bring Nissan back on
Nissan
solid
Quest
growth
coming
track.
back? No, it's gone.
それでは
Moving on to ticket number 5. Ticket number 5. Please ask your question.
Well,
Please
here's the
give
thing. If
your
Infinity
attendance number
dies, then the
and ask
Maxima,
your
it would make
question.
sense to keep the Maxima
87
around
is
as
my
a
number.
flagship
87.
sedan for them, but sedans don't sell
Before
anyways.
asking you a
Or at least the
question,
Maxima's not selling compared to the Altima and Sentra.
As
So
shareholder said, Mr. Gon, there was top management
Any
is
car with
not
a
talking
manual.
about Mr. Gon at all. How do you feel about Mr. Gon now?
I
I
gotta listen
mean,
to
it's
this.
not really my question, but this is my opinion, just my opinion. In the convocation letter, you on page 31 and 32, you find the profiles of the board
Problem with the
members.
GS is it's outdated tech. Yeah, but the interior fit and finish and quality is not outdated. It's hard to find a better vehicle or better interior than the GS for the price.
Can't you bring more people
and the car
on
will
the
last
stage?
forever.
There's only small number of people are on the stage. And another concern is that these mugshots on the convocation letter.
Even if you buy a new car, the tech's outdated in a year or two.
These are non-Japanese people.
That's how
number
fast
9
tech moves
and
now.
number 11. These are in non-Japanese names, so I can't pronounce their names. They don't have any shares in Nissan. Come on. No share in Nissan as part of the top management, and they have no Nissan share?
I love this chick.
I mean, all the top management people should own stake. I don't know how much stake they should hold, but at least they need... I know that there's no requirement in the Articles of Incorporation, but at least they should have
this
some
investor
stake
saying
in Nissan. At least
all these higher level executives have no skin in the
requirement.
game because they don't have any shares of the company.
貴重なご意見
Thank you for your valuable opinion.
Oh,
With
this is
regards to the
awesome.
last opinion, myself, we are all united to make Nissan better. And with regards to shareholding policy, we would like to consider. And the second question, your opinion. Today, because of the COVID-19, in order to prevent the pandemic, we put only limited number of people on the stage.
A Japanese
but
company
executive
and
officers
a
and directors
Korean company,
are on the front
the
line
only
of
way
the
they would ever
audience
work
seat
together is if
and
like
are ready to answer
the
your
Western
questions
world
when
were
any
trying to
question
take
is
over
raised.
them. It would have to be like a World War III where they band together. Otherwise,
And with regards
Koreans,
to
Japanese definitely don't like each other. They don't like working together. It's somewhat of a miracle that they all do business in China, because China and Japanese and Koreans
just as we
historically
said last
don't
time,
typically
we
get
will
along.
continue
So
taking necessary actions on this matter.
それでは整理番号
Ticket number 6, please. Ticket number
ticket
6.
number 6.
Please
Like,
give
move
your
on. Move on to the
attendance
next person to
number
rip
and
us a
then
new one.
ask your question.
So sad.
出席は
Number 9 is my attendance number. My question is to Mr. Sonar, who is not here. There are 5 directors and they are French. There are 3 from Renault and 2 from Nissan, except for the outside directors. And it seems like Renault has a control over Nissan. So that's my question. So wouldn't Nissan and Renault collapse together, fall together? And the second one.
What's up, Chosen Impala? Welcome back, man.
Born and bred talents will leave the
DBZ.
company in this kind
Talking
of
about right here,
circumstances.
bro.
I like traveling and
7-star
I go
ball.
abroad and I take buses and
Love
I go
Dragon
to
Ball.
parking lot
It's
in
part of my life
hotel
ever
and
since
I'm
I was
looking
like
around what
3rd
kind
or 4th
of cars
grade,
or
man.
car brands
Love it.
are stopping on the streets. Then I find that the majority is Japanese makes and Germans. And Renault cars, I only see limited number
Real
of Renault
Cigar
cars.
had a late 80s 300ZX twin turbo. So sick.
And when it comes to
God bless
Renault's,
you for having that car.
should be the real capability of Renault head office. If so, Japanese and Germans, strong points. Technological excellence is one of the benefits or strength of Germans and Japanese. But when it comes to French, well, in art, you may excel in art, French people are, but in terms of technology, they're
Ooh,
weak.
RLX Sport Hybrid would be cool
なん
too.
ていうのかな
Infiniti Q70 on the list
I
of
don't know
cars that
how
are
to put it,
extinct.
but-
Yeah, so
そこで
Um,
ルノーというか
I just
So
sold. So if you guys don't know,
Renault
I'm in
or French
sales,
people,
car sales. I just
mean,
sold
it
a
seems like
Lexus
there's
ES, a
it's
2020
weighing
ES
on
hybrid.
Nissan's
He was
performance.
also looking at an
So
RLX
these are
hybrid
my 2
sport,
questions. These are my
Um,
concerns.
and he ended up going with the
So,
Lexus.
The chairman,
I think a
can you
part of
talk
it
about-
was
talk about this
because
matter?
RLX
The
was dead.
alliance.
There wasn't going to be further
It
support
has
in the
been
future.
the case in the past,
And the
going
ES is
forward,
like
it'll be the case
the
as
most
well.
stable vehicle out there in terms of sales.
Renault, Nissan, and Mitsubishi Motors.
So I think that was a part of it. And it's just
alliance
the
partner,
ES, the new
when it
ES
comes to
guys Oh my
should
gosh.
benefit
If
from
you haven't
the
seen my
alliance
reviews on what I think about
contribution
I
in terms
just
of revenue
love the
and
new
profit.
ES. It's so smooth,
That's
so
what
comfortable.
alliance is about. It's a tool to increase
It is
competitiveness.
modern
and all
Lexus.
three
It's a
partners
great
are
interpretation of
faced
modern
with
Lexus.
financial challenges.
Now the interior,
And the other day,
it's
on the
nice.
27th of
It's not as
May,
nice
we
as a
made an
GS,
alliance communication.
but can't argue about being
And for
10 grand less
example,
than a
we
GS.
said that
So
Nissan is ensuring prioritization and focus. And in this, in region A or market A, for example, we use Renault developed car in the lineup if it is competitive for Nissan. This is how we are maintaining or enhancing Nissan brand using alliance assets. So what you asked just now, just because we are in alliance, it doesn't mean that talents are leaving just because we are in the alliance. Rather, we believe that taking into the account Nissan situation, we are looking for what alliance can contribute to Nissan, and Renault is doing the same, vice versa. This is what we are focused on in our discussion, and we would like to maintain this scheme. So each company will ensure its autonomy and independence, and put top priority in its own revenue and profit, and use alliance as a contribution.
guys, if you haven't
Thank
smashed the like button, go ahead and do it. I know
Ticket
most of
number
you
7.
have. Most of you
Ticket
have
number
already in the
7,
chat, but
please.
why not? If
Please
you
give
came
us
here fairly
your
recently, go ahead and do
attendance
that.
number and then
I would
ask your
appreciate it.
question.
The channel would
Attendance
appreciate
number
it.
22. My name is Honda. Before asking you a question,
I'm trying my best to
I
listen,
would like to express
which
my
is hard because
opinion
I'm reading
as
your
a
comments as
shareholder.
well.
And
So
after I express my
bear
opinion,
with me, please.
Chair of the Board, Mr. Kimura, and Representative Executive Officer, Mr. Uchiro, I have questions to both gentlemen. And if necessary, I would like to ask outside directors to answer as well. In fact, last year at the general meeting of the shareholders, I said that in 3 years, Nissan will disappear if you do nothing. It has been 1 year. Time flies.
Thanks for smashing the like
And where
button, guys.
is Nissan?
Just shot
Is
up quite a
Nissan
bit. Appreciate
going
it.
to a better
Infiniti
direction?
compete in
What's your
BMW,
opinion? Do you think
Mercedes.
Nissan is going to
No,
a better
well,
direction?
No, not
Uchida-san,
really.
I was listening
Infiniti kind
to
of
your
competes with
energetic
BMW, Mercedes.
presentation,
Infiniti
talking
probably
about
competes
performance
more with
recovery.
BMW
1 year
than
ago, you
Mercedes
said the
because
same
it's more
thing.
sport
Saikawa-san said the
oriented.
same thing last time.
Go
And
cool,
before
Ram.
that, I heard
Nice
the
video,
same
Kirk.
message
Thanks.
from the
Oh yeah, my
from
pleasure, man. Thanks
Nissan.
for watching.
And this is the situation. You are starting the
How
sales
much
of
would
new
you sell an
model after
RCF from
long
2016
years
with
tomorrow, but
31K? I think those are
can't
going
count much on
for
this.
around
If you think about
40K,
what happened in the
35
past.
to
In the
40K
past
right
1
now.
year, I have been hearing a lot
Somewhere
of
in
media
there.
reports. Nissan has been in a lot of commotion and turmoil, and performance is not stagnating.
Nissan is
It's
basically
like
a fleet
plunging.
company
Your
now, at least in the
results
States.
are plunging.
There's some truth to that.
That's what the media is reporting.
All those rental companies and things are all
employees.
Nissans.
Are people in the affiliates and individual shareholders. It seems like you are making our lives harder. We are kind of suffocating because of the situation. Without COVID-19, it would have been better. That may be your argument. But it's the same for other car makers, right? So once again, let me declare, if you do nothing, in 2 years, Nissan will disappear. That's my concern.
The shareholder just ripped
Why
them.
are we here? As one of the shareholders, let me express my opinion. First off, what Nissan wants is a big transformation and reform under quick decision to come out of this crisis. And you shouldn't take a lot of time unnecessarily to transform or carry out the reform. You don't have a luxury of time.
Frontier,
what you need
Tacoma?
now
Tacoma every
is
day of the week, bruh.
top-down strong leadership. You shouldn't just spend time on the democratic discussion. We need dictatorship. A strong leader here.
No, I would take an Armada
And the
over an
strong message
Atlas
from
every
the
single
top.
day.
Ironically,
Armadas are still
when
built
Mr.
in
Gon
Japan.
arrived at Nissan in 5 or 6 years, he made it
Never an Atlas
a
will fall apart in
reality.
3 to
That's
5 years.
what
Fuck
Nissan
that.
needs
Sorry, I used
today.
the F word. Sorry.
Of course, I mean,
No
what
way.
Mr. Gon did in the past years cannot be accepted. But is Nissan under strong leadership now? In a nutshell, if you look at Nissan's top management, it seems like there are so many cooks, too many cooks. Too many cooks in the
I
kitchen,
lost all
it seems
respect
like.
Volkswagen after Dieselgate.
There's no center. There's no central function in Nissan. That's my impression. From employees' perspective, you don't know
Mitsubishi's in
who is
worse
the real
shape than
leader of
Nissan.
this
Well,
company. So my
the bigger
message
they
is
are, the harder they
follows.
fall, right? So
Who
Nissan
is
being much bigger,
representative executive officer of Nissan? If you
they're
look
going to
at
create
the
a tidal wave
documents,
when they go down, if they go
says-
down. But this
Oh,
guy,
excuse
this
me.
shareholder's still
1
ripping.
year
I'm
ago,
saying
you
2 years from now, you're not going to be
established a
around.
new top management and transitioned to 3 statutory committee
Chip B,
format
Chip
with
B's
3
got my back.
committees,
Armadas are way
right?
better than Atlas. Yeah, absolutely.
But this
QX80 owns an
structure
Atlas any
is
day of the week.
double-bladed
Armada is the same
knife.
vehicle.
When the
So
performance is strong, it works well. It works well with this structure. But when the company is on the downturn, sir, when there's a, sir, if I may, please limit your the number of questions to 1. So that is why I am expressing my opinions. Unless you understand what I'm trying to say, you will not be able to answer my question. Don't see it as a simple question. I mean, I need to talk.
these guys are pissed.
In the convocation letter, on pages 6 and onward, you talk about re-election of the directors and you find mugshots of each individual.
Dozen rice
At
balls
the top,
has,
we
has
have
seen
chair
my
of the
older
board, Mr.
older
Kimura.
streams. He said F-bombs
Usually,
means
in
Trader
the
Joe's
normal
gin
company,
shots. Well,
chairman of the board and the
I'm not drinking gin
CEO
tonight.
is shown, and usually
one day I might get
CEO
sponsored by Roku
people
Gin. It's
with
a
the title of
Japanese
CEO
gin. I
comes
can't
at the top
recommend them
page.
enough.
But because of the
Distilled
new
in Japan
structure,
with 6
Kimura-san is
unique
at the top
Japanese
page.
botanicals.
What is this order or
Yeah.
sequence here? At
Sakura
Nissan,
flowers. Real Japanese sakura flowers are brewed
who is at
or
the top
distilled
of
with this
Nissan?
gin.
Is
Can't
it
recommend it enough.
represented
But
in
speaking
these
of Trader
pages
Joe's, I'm
that you
drinking
see in the
actually
convocation letter?
some Trader Joe's
Is this
wine.
the hierarchy?
That's right, boxed wine
And
from
in-
Australia, mate.
The board is included as top management. If that is right, chair of the board.
I enjoy
what kind
see
of
like
responsibility
to me
does he
hanging on the
assume?
live stream with you guys is like me going to the pub or the bar with my friends
Board members
and
may be
just
at top
letting
of
it
the
hang
CEO
out,
as an
having a good
institution,
time,
so
be
you
myself.
should elect the
Not
agenda,
super
and the chair
professional,
of the board
but
should be the real
just
top
having fun,
leader
being
of
happy,
Nissan
being
with
jolly,
the
being
huge,
merry.
biggest
That's what I
responsibility.
like about the live streams, and I
But
miss doing
as a
that.
title, Uchida-san is a representative executive officer, right? That's your
Rafi's like,
title. This is really
yeah,
ambiguous.
good advertising. Well, you know,
This
Roku Gin
gives an
can.
impression that Nissan does not
No,
have
that's
a center.
glass, my friend.
So
That's glass.
under the new structure, you
I don't know if you guys-
ensuring better
I don't know
supervision
if you guys
of
can see
business
this glass
execution.
here.
It sounds nice.
It's beautiful. There's
but
flowers on it.
in
It's
reality,
true
who
Japanese
is
craftsmanship.
The top management, maybe top management for you as a top management,
cool.
you'll be
It's
concerned.
beautiful.
If someone
There's
is
no doubt.
supervising you or checking you,
Sakura leaf,
you
sancho
may feel
peppers,
uncomfortable because someone
yuzu
is
peels,
watching you, right? So you'll be
sencha tea.
distracted. And you will make sure that the board members are appreciating you. Sir, excuse me, let me give another warning. You have spent 6 minutes, so in order to answer your question, please summarize your question, sir. Yes. So, my question is as follows.
Dennis is like,
This
pub,
is a
give me a
question
beer.
for Mr. Uchida. Today, you are carrying out the reform. What is the percentage of your plan which is in line with your own opinion or your thoughts? If you look at outside directors' activities, they are providing advice, expressing command, proposing the business execution. But how much of your ideas are incorporated into the business
What would you compare
transformation plan?
Mazda
I'm
to?
sure
I know
that
you guys
some
are
of your
talking about
ideas are
Mazda and
rejected
Kia
by
and stuff,
board
but-
members. And you have the, do you think that you have an ultimate responsibility of running Nissan? If you find something uncomfortable in your position, what makes you easier to execute your plan?
I don't know, Mazda.
This is the question to Mr.
I don't know.
Uchida.
What would you compare Mazda
And
to? In
Starting
terms
with
of
the question
size-wise
for
in the
Mr.
States,
Kimura.
it's really hard.
The leadership required by Nissan today is a strong top-down leadership, dictatorship, so to speak. Or do you think a council system where you spend a lot of time, discuss, more convincing, democratic kind of structure or leadership is required? Which is better? And the second one, who is the top responsible person of Nissan? Do you think it's,
Subaru
do
is
you
a
think
lot
it's a
bigger
chair of the board?
than Mazda, I
Sir,
think.
there's another one. Kimura-san,
maybe twice
as a
as
chair
big
of the
from
board,
the cars
if you
I see on
say
the road.
that
Mazda and Acura might be closer. I would
you don't have a
good
final
point.
responsibility
Mazda and
of
Acura might
business
be
execution or
similar.
running the
Or
company,
Mazda Infinity,
Representative Executive
somewhere in
Officer
there.
Mr. Uchida, you should help him to ease his operation. So that, did you agree on these rules that you suggested to ease Mr. Uchida's job with other board directors?
Nissan's definitely below Toyota and Honda.
Allow me to respond to your question.
Then it would be
With
Nissan
regard
in
to-
terms of size.
I am the one with the top responsibility in terms of the execution and management. So when it comes to Nissan Next, I am 100%
Mazda is
leading
commonly
this
compared to Toyota
initiative.
here in
Of
Australia.
course,
They're top two brands here. I would agree with that. I would.
with regard to looking back over the past,
I like Hondas.
all the relevant
I like
officers and
Acuras too.
also officers, we are in discussion with this.
For no particular reason
people.
other than I just like them more. I like Mazdas more than Hondas.
Take the full leadership in this process.
It's no particular
Also,
reason. I just like them more.
So the execution side is considered what is going to allow
Mazda
Nissan
does not
to
equal
revert
Acura.
to the path of growth.
I'm just
We
saying in
make
terms of
those proposals
size.
to the members of the board, and
There
the
aren't
members
that
of
many
the board
companies the
against
size
this
of
proposal
Mazda in America.
will monitor the execution side, and at the same time, when it comes to our strategy, will this be appropriate for the future of Nissan? This is what they're discussing at the board. So that being the case, inclusive of the board, with regard to the future growth of Nissan, we have a great deal of discussions. We receive advice from experts who have full know-how. That is my philosophy, and that is my view as the person who's leading the progress of the plan.
Was everyone talking about Mazda? Well, I think there's
So
a
you
lot
mentioned that you
of
have
subscribers that came to my
experts with
channel
knowledge
because
that
of
are
my
on the board, and you have to reach
what's
a
next for
consensus
Mazda
among
video.
these people, which means that this is going to be a
So I think a lot of those
time-consuming
people are
process.
tuning in tonight
You have
talking
a very
about
large
it.
number
And
of
it's
outside
Japanese. There's
independent
not that many
directors.
Japanese auto companies. Of course, Nissan's a
To
focus
what extent
tonight.
do these people really
But
understand
yeah,
things on the ground
I
at
mean,
Nissan?
that's just kind of the organic
That
flow
is
of the chat
questionable for
that's
me.
going towards Mazda
So
for
I
some
think
reason.
you need to speed up the process, expedite the process. But Mr. Kimura, if you'd like to respond to this question, please. Thank you. I'm the chair of the board. Kimura is my name.
Exquisite Art. Does
Thank you
Toyota
for
plan
your
to work with
question,
Yamaha on
sir.
any future projects? They're always working together. You have to
First.
realize Toyota owns a good part of Yamaha. I don't remember how much percentage-wise they own of
execution
Yamaha.
side,
They're
correction,
always working
the
together on
principle
cars.
is separating execution and supervision.
Don't
So as you
don't ever
pointed
think
out,
that they're not.
it's
So
Mr.
they are a partner.
Uchida, who's the
Yamaha's
CEO, that
always
is at the
making
top
parts
side
for
of the
their
execution
TRD
process.
division. But in terms of individual
he has the
models, I
fullest
don't know what they're
authority
working on
in this
together right now, but
regard.
I
And
guarantee
as
they're
far as
working on something.
as far as the members of the board are concerned, we appropriately supervise this execution. So we will allow execution to execute, but when we confer this to the execution side, we supervise in an independent, fair manner as to whether or not the execution is being promoted in an appropriate
What is
manner.
my favorite used Alexa? Says Dan.
So we will fully monitor and supervise the situation, and all the execution side being conducted in a selfless manner. This
It might
we will
be a coin
and
flip
so
between
I think as Mr. Uchida is, of
like
course,
a
fully responsible for the execution side.
2007.
Also, you
No,
pointed out
probably-
whether or not strong leadership is required. Yes, strong leadership is
2000
required. We need power that will drive
No,
this
older
process.
than that.
But the basis and the premise for this is
Let's just
what
say
policy?
any LX
Based on which
470
policy is this
and
company
then
being
any
managed?
LS
Decision of the
400
policy
second
is concerned.
generation. I really like the second generation
As
LS
we announced
400.
earlier, we have the
Those are my
midterm
two
plan.
favorites. SC300 with a
execution
6-speed.
side and the members
I
and the
mean,
board
they don't exist
have
anymore, but
discussed
that'd be
this
pretty
and have
sick.
graded this.
ISF,
and
of
was-
course.
and
Gosh,
have
can't forget the
decided on this
ISF.
process.
It's pretty nasty.
And so
But yeah, the
that being the case,
2012s and
we
newer
are
had the
conferring
upgraded
with the
suspension. I
process
think
to
they also
execution
have
side,
the
and we hope
Tours
that the
and
strong
torque
leadership
vectoring
be taken
differential
to
in there.
execute this process. So at the risk of repeating myself,
So yeah, pretty nice.
the basic principle is separation of execution and supervision.
There-
And based
there
on
are
this full
too many
understanding,
one-
both
too many
sides
good ones,
must
guys.
take their respective responsibility. That I believe is the basic principle, and that is based on, and that is the process which we're trying to implement. As far as the current situation is concerned, under the policy of Mr. Uchida, CEO, have been determined. So therefore, we need to support that process. That I believe is the role which we
Infinity
should
needs a
play.
sports
So
car
that is
based
my
off the
response.
Z.
Thank
Well,
you
what if
very
the
much.
Z is based off the Infinity
Thank you.
Q60?
Just one thing. Outside directors, you are
Some
having
food for thought
IDC,
there.
independent directors meeting, I heard, consisting of only outside independent directors. What's the intention behind having this kind of meeting?
Yeah, the Porsche Cayenne did
Yeah.
wonders for the company. Yep.
それでは所定の5時間を
You have spent the time given, so there's no answer to this question, I understand, says the shareholder. So, ticket number 8, please give us your attendance number and ask your question. Attendance number 0028. 0028. My question is as follows. What's the sales strategy and the full year outlook?
Mercedes cranks out a new model every month.
As one of the Nissan challenges,
their business
you are overly relying on
totally
incentives to
Lexus.
sell the
Lexus
cars which damage
the
the
most
brand.
reliable,
That's what
most
it says.
polished car. Mercedes
And
to
the
the point is
biggest
just making
impacts were
leasing
seen
cars.
in United States or North America. That's what
BMW
media
and
is
Mercedes make
saying. With
leasing
regards
cars
to
now.
these issues, in order to rectify this overspending on incentives,
how
what
they're
kind
able
of
to come out with
improvements
new
are you
models, new
making in North
technology so
America? Because this
fast.
will result in
So
smaller sales.
They don't need to test
Did
it.
you
They don't
incorporate
need to test it.
this
They're just lease
expected
cars.
negative impact? And when are you going to bring
Burn
back the
and turn every
profit
3
at
years,
which
baby.
market share or which sales volume in U.S.? And next is
How
the full
incentives for
year
Lexus right
outlook.
now? Pretty good. I
Listening
can't
to
talk
you,
about
it seems
next
like
month. Next month is
because
not going
of
to
the
be as
poor
good in my
situation
opinion.
today, it's very
right
difficult
now,
to
they're really
come up
good.
with a specific outlook. But Toyota, who is a competitor, came up with 500 billion yen of profit as an outlook. Akio Toyota-san thinks that one is to take care of shareholders and
So
share
Dawson
price.
Riceball said, what about the
And
interior of the
also,
2021
he
IS?
would like to reassure suppliers by giving out
It's the same interior.
outlook.
That's why I
So
didn't talk about
Nissan,
it much.
20 years ago,
Circular
announced
vents
the
now. You
Nissan
got a
revival
touchscreen.
plan,
They
and
moved
as
the
a
cup
result,
holders around. They
a
put a
lot of
touchpad in there.
suppliers
That's it.
cried
What else is
or
there to talk about? There's
were
nothing else to talk
sacrificed. Are you
about.
going to
A new
sacrifice
interior
the
colors?
suppliers once
Nah.
again, including part suppliers? That's
I
what
mean,
people
that's
are paying
really
attention
about it.
to.
That's all they did. So that's why I didn't talk about it
in order
much.
to reassure people, what you need to show some kind of outlook, including whether it's a profit or loss making, to reassure people. What do you say about this? For example, 4.93 million units was 2019, but this year it will be at 4 million units, or it will be lower, or what? In full year, you are going to generate another loss. It can be a rough estimate to reassure people. Thank you for your question. Full year outlook for fiscal year 2020. TIV is expected to fall by 15% to 20%. Against such backdrop, considering our market share, we have several scenarios on sales volume. Of course, our business partner suppliers, including the part supply chain, we have to immediately show the mid and long-term perspective of the parts volume to suppliers.
Nah, Toyota's not going to put money into Nissan. That's a sinking ship. Toyota's too smart for that. That'd be a terrible business acquisition, in my opinion, if they were to put money into Nissan.
Tended to pursue excessive expansion of sales, and as a result, we are left with overcapacity or redundant assets. Therefore, going forward, we are setting forth achievable and challengeable
Genesis is
sales
a copy of
volume.
Infinity
This is
in
what
some
we are
ways.
steering toward. This is the intent
Some ways,
of
I feel like
Nissan
the
Next.
interiors of the cars
And the
are
question
more like
is how
Audi,
we
but
can concentrate on core markets and core technologies and bring Nissan back on growth track. That's the intent of what we announced on May 28th. So taking this into consideration, we are based on several simulations of sales volume, we are closely collaborating with the suppliers. And this is what we are going to strengthen because we are in uncertainties. And when you talk about North America, where we overspend incentives, you are concerned that if you increase the quality of sales, we will lose sales. In 2019, in the third quarter, in North America, the performance declined largely because we focused on enhancing the quality of sales. So it was very difficult to strike a balance with sales volume. And the dealers' engagement was still a bit weak. That's the lessons learned in the third quarter last year. So this time, new Sentra was announced this year, and we are seeing better results, but it will take time. Therefore, without being desperate, we will carry out the performance recovery in United States and North America. We will closely collaborate with the business partners to overcome the COVID-19 crisis and do come up with a plan to bring Nissan back on growth track together with the midterm performance recovery outlook. When we are ready, we would like to present it to you. Thank you.
Alan says, thanks for live streaming. Maybe you
10,
can add commentary,
10,
please. Pause the stream because it's difficult to hear both of you. Sales rep.
Well,
here. Most of you guys aren't listening to the sales rep anyways.
Thank you for this opportunity. I have a question. 0016 is my
So I can reduce her voice a little bit, but
at this general meeting of the shareholders, Renault and Mitsubishi Motors and Nissan, you are sharing responsibilities and roles to bring companies back on track. And with Nissan
there's no
next,
money specifically in supercars or halo cars, but they do generate excitement and they get people thinking about the brand. You're not going to get too many people thinking about a brand without a halo car. It's possible based off of returning customers or referrals, like the RX. Like the RX alone, Lexus could just have the RX and still survive. That's the crazy thing.
When you look at Toyota has had a long-term perspective and they are developing smart city. This is a new challenge for them. When you look at Honda, Honda is working on robots on 2 legs and airline jets. They are expanding their opportunities to create new world of new era. How about Nissan? We don't see a future vision of Nissan like that. So maybe you cannot answer the question right now, I understand. But next time at the shareholders meeting, could you talk about the long-term vision of Nissan? Along with this, Nissan has a lot of talented engineers. That's what you said in your presentation. Yes, I believe there are talented engineers in your organization. However, these technological
Toyota has a stake in the Mitsubishi aircraft? Interesting.
Well utilized,
I didn't know that.
Those who are attending here, the directors and executives
RX itself outsells Infinity, yeah.
Have you ever seen the patents that
Turn it
Nissan
back up.
owns?
Okay, sorry. Gosh, guys, sorry. I'm
The
trying to
list
strike
of
a balance
patents
here.
that Nissan owns. Please raise your hand. There's no one? Oh, there are several. Okay, good. So it's obvious if you look at the list of patents owned by Nissan. For 1.5 years, it's not disclosed. I don't know the recent years,
Thanks, man.
but
So,
Nissan is really disadvantageous compared to poorly with car makers. If you're
my
going
first
to
tank,
protect
I filled
your
up my first
intellectual
tank in
assets,
over
you
a
need
month
to
on the
nurture
Prius,
talents in the areas of
and I
intellectual
got
properties.
46
If you
miles
cannot do
per
it
gallon
overnight,
based off
as
of
far as
the
I
fill up
see,
and the miles I had on my trip.
the company
The car
with
said
good
48 miles
Denso
per
is
gallon
really
based off the
excel
electronic
in
trip
this
or the
area.
estimation, but
So
I got
maybe you cannot
46. Now,
benchmark Denso. Maybe it's hard.
it's going to
But
get
how about
better
Mitsubishi
because now I know how to
Electric?
drive the car, and then some of that
You have
gasoline
an
was wasted
alliance
on me
with
testing
Mitsubishi
out
Group,
because
right?
I
So
put in the
how about
OBD2
benchmarking
sensor in there
Mitsubishi
to test
Electric
out
to learn from them?
the battery health. So
And
it's going to be better next time
value
around.
and nurture engineers. Then engineers
Yeah,
will be
recall.
highly
My car's
motivated.
not affected in the recall of the gajillion
please think about
Priuses that
this
were
direction.
recalled. So
Your
I'm a
answer,
little bit
please.
happy
Sir.
about that.
Thank you for your question. Intellectual assets and nurturing talents in this area. Yes, as you said, we have a system to nurture people in this area, and R&D executive
Lexus can
officer
survive only if they have
Nakaguro-san
RX and ES.
will
So true.
give further details.
And
Nakaguro-san,
NX.
the
The
floor is
NX
yours.
actually sells more than the ES, but NX, RX, NX, ES, and have F variants of all of those.
Thank
400,
you very much
500
for your
horsepower.
question. I'm in charge of
Make it happen.
R&D. My name is
I'm okay with that.
Nakaguro. Nissan's
And have an
engineers,
LCF. All right.
how to develop
LS doesn't sell
and
any
make
cars,
the best
so
use
as much
of
as I love the car,
engineering
doesn't sell
talents
anything.
and also patent. In Atsugi, we have 8,000 engineers working for Nissan. Around the world, there are 20,000 engineers working
Mitsubishi
for
is a
Nissan.
giant.
As you said, Nissan
Toyota will have
is
an EV
in
here by
financial
2022, says
difficulties, but in
Chazzy
the
person.
past 2 or 3 years, Nissan has
2 years? You think
never
they're going to have an
reduced the
EV? I mean,
R&D
they
budget.
can't stop talking about the RAV4
And
Prime. I don't know about that,
our
bro.
size of organization hasn't been downside. In terms of motivation of engineers, as CEO Uchida
Honda
mentioned
was really
earlier,
close to making a V8, but they canceled
Nissan
it.
has many
Yeah, well,
technologies
gosh, if
which can
Honda
be
made a
pillars,
V8,
whether
God,
it's
the world would be a better place. I'll tell you that much.
autonomous
They're so
driving,
capable. They make some of the best
electrification,
engines in the
and
world,
EVs.
freaking Honda. They
These
can't make a V8? Oh.
Without slowing down, globally
It's like one
we
of
are
the greatest
applying these
opportunities
advanced
lost in the history
technologies.
of mankind.
For example, ProPilot
Ugh.
is applied
say,
to
well, I think they did in maybe
700,000
like
cars around the world,
some of
which
their
means that
racing cars,
700,000
but
users
never
are
a
using
production
it,
version
and
of
we
a
sold
V8.
500,000 EVs and 400,000 e-power equipped vehicles so far, and we are receiving reactions, feedbacks from these users. So customers highly appreciate Nissan technologies, including media, and this is the source of motivation for the engineers. And as you asked, the patents. As you said,
Always be
lately
thankful that Nissan
it has
pushed
been
the
slowing
Leaf EV
down.
so much.
This
Kind of
is a
weird, but
fact.
pro-environment. I
But
think
after
everyone's
I took
pro-environment.
this
Some are a little
office,
bit more pro-environment than
we
others.
have been appealing
We all want our world
patents
to
and
last
protect
forever. We
intellectual
don't want
assets.
it
So
to
we are
burn to
trying
hell.
to
We
increase
don't
the
want
number of
us
patents,
to leave
enhance the
our world
quality of
to
patents,
garbage.
and increase the number
I
of
like the
pieces
Nissan
paper
EV.
that we are
And the
publishing,
thing,
and we are
sorry, the
seeing
Leaf
results.
EV. And I like the
These are
Aria
the
coming
patches
up. I
that
think
we
it has
are
a lot of
taking
promise
in
to it.
order to motivate
EVs,
engineers
unless you have
and
solar panels or
show
you
the
keep the vehicle
results
forever,
or fruits that these
the
engineers
current
deliver
batteries
to
that
the
are being
customers so
produced
that we
aren't
can
really
keep the
environmentally
engineering
friendly.
ability of Nissan.
And
We will
then
continue
also
working
all the
hard
metal
on
that
this
goes into the
area.
vehicle, that's not
Nakaguro-san,
very
thank you very
environmentally
much.
friendly either. So the fact that
Ticket number 11.
people
Ticket
claim that
number
EVs
11,
are,
please ask your
more
question.
environmentally friendly.
Please give us your attendance number
I mean,
before
yeah,
this.
I guess they're
Attendance
more
number
environmentally friendly than
75.
the next best thing.
75.
But
thank you for this opportunity.
in general,
to
they're
ask
not
a
environmentally
question.
friendly at
But
all.
for both companies' results and technologies are
Yeah,
very
that's how I feel
important for a
about
company.
EVs.
But the prerequisite
They're a step in
or
the right
assumption for
direction,
this
but they're still
should be
99% of them are
credibility
run
or
on fossil
confidence
fuels,
or
and
trust.
they're all mined out of the ground,
Uchida-san, I have a question about
just like
trust
everything
and
else.
confidence.
So
In
they
the
just
business
don't
report, in the opening,
burn. They don't put emissions
it
into the
says
air, which is a
that
good
there
thing.
was
It's
a
a good
significant
thing. Don't get me
misconduct
wrong.
by
I just
ex-chairman and others,
gotta
and we
bring
are going
the
to focus on
reality
restoring
here.
confidence and recover performance. What is lacking in Nissan today is credibility
The
or
Prius
trust
recall,
or
what was it
confidence
for?
today. So,
Oh, I forget already.
first
That's
question.
sad. What was it for?
misconduct
for a fuel
by
pump. It may have
ex-chairman
been
and
for-
others. Does this include misconduct by Mr. Saikawa?
That's a good
That's what I
question.
understand.
I read it about a week ago. I don't remember what the recall
If
was
Mr.
for.
Saikawa is not included in this significant misconduct by the executives, why don't you include Saikawa-san? And second question, what is the lack of trust in Nissan? This
Honda
is
V8
my
will put
question.
them in
What is
serious pickup
what's
right
the,
now?
the fundamental question? Mr. Gon's misconduct. This is what you are
Yep,
asserting.
Honda's piston
Nissan
rings
is a company. When there's a doubt
big
or
question mark.
suspicion, that without giving opportunity for Mr. Gon to make his argument, without inviting him
10
to
years
the
every
board
car will be hybrid or
meeting,
all electric.
you let the prosecutors to
Probably, or
arrest
fuel
him
cell,
and
which is
declared
fuel
that
cell's
this was
full
a
electric.
misconduct.
It's just not battery electric.
Uchida-san, supposedly. If you are questioned, if there's a doubt that you committed the misconduct without having an opportunity to argue in the board member, without any press conference, you were just detained. Is that a company that Nissan is? Today in the public, they are saying that Mr. Gon's arrest is a conspiracy
Audi
between the
A3 is a spruced up
prosecutors, top
Jetta in
management,
itself,
and
well.
METI
That's Europe for you.
in order to prevent the merger with Renault. That's a theory which is understood as a convincing theory among the public. If so, before being a shareholder, as a Japanese
Well, thank you for
person,
mentioning
I
the
feel
dark side of
embarrassed
EVs.
about this
Yeah, they're not
kind of
just
ways that you are going
rainbows and
about this
unicorns.
subject.
Not even close.
You should have solved this matter within the
The best thing
organization,
about
but
EVs to
without
me,
organizing a
well,
board meeting,
no emissions is
you
nice, at
involve
least
the
immediate
prosecutors
emissions
to
from
kick
the vehicle
Mr.
itself.
Gon out. This is a misconduct by
smooth
itself.
as butter.
Prime Minister
So smooth.
Abe, who is leading
And then
Japan, has said
the
that
immediate
this
power.
issue
That's the
should
biggest thing
have
about
been
EVs.
resolved
The
within
immediate
the
power, the immediate
organization.
torque
In
is
the
what every
market,
vehicle should feel like.
There are people who say that they will never buy a car from such a company, Nissan. That's what I hear from many people.
Like a dinosaur.
As far as this doubt or suspicion remains, no matter how many new models you introduce in the market, or no matter how much you
is fully
present
electric
the
powered,
benefits of
but it still has
Alliance,
a gasoline engine in there
consumers will never trust you.
produce the energy,
What's
electricity.
your reaction to what I say just now? Mr. Gon himself escaped outside Japan, so trial will not open for him. But Mr. Kelly, who is in Japan, if he is found not guilty, what are you going to do as Nissan? This is another part of question.
Hydrogen fuel cell.
Economic depression is
although
resulting
it's
in
not
COVID-19.
viable right now because there's absolutely zero infrastructure. There is.
I want Nissan to be a company where people want to support, even under this economic depression. To this end, you need to regain trust. What is the real trust that is required for Nissan?
Then yes, hydrogen could be.
I don't want any superficial
like
answer. Or are you going to face it? Together with many Japanese people, I would like to carefully listen to your reaction and answer.
What is better, IS350 or RC350? IS350 is better. That's my opinion.
Former Chairman Mr. Saikawa.
Especially with the new one coming out. The RC is
heavy.
That,
in terms
well,
of
so is IS,
trust,
but it's like a conglomeration of three different platforms.
The confidence of the consumers to a brand. It is, as you have pointed out, ever since I became the president, I've always been mindful of the following.
Even though it has more interior cabin space, it's weird.
We need to restore internal trust within the company. Without restoring the internal trust, then we cannot restore the trust from outside the company. So from that perspective, unfortunately, in the past, there have been very serious, various cases which occurred in the past. And also, there have been a great deal of reports in the media. So that being the case, how do we explain these matters to the employees? How do we receive feedback from the employees and restore the trust of the people toward the company? Myself and all the executive officers on the stage, we have made efforts toward this end.
That would just make it look like the Acura ILX, how the ILX is pretty much a Corolla, and that thing doesn't sell for shit.
We have been
so
perhaps
I don't think it would do well.
Our targets toward the short-term perspective. That was the case in the past, and as a result, various things occurred because she shifted to a focus on short term. So in order to return to the medium to long-term perspective, it is important that we rectify the situation on the ground. And at the same time, what should we deliver as values to the customers over the future? That is the series of discussions which we have had. So that being the case, restoring the trust and confidence.
Yeah, they do.
This is indeed a very important mission for the company, and we are firmly resolved to implement this. With regard to the cases that occurred in the past, as far as the facts are concerned,
so
I would like to invite Nagai-san to
they were
explain
expecting
these
it
matters.
to only go to 9 o'clock.
Please. Thank you for your question.
They were only expecting, I didn't even realize how long I was streaming.
You have pointed out
only expecting
the need to restore the confidence
go to 9 o'clock.
that this should be the first and foremost. I totally agree with your position, sir.
So
now, with regard to former chairman and also Mr. Greg Kelly, with regard to the misconduct by these two gentlemen.
I don't know how I'm going to make a video out of this because if I'm going to rewatch this, it's going to take another hour and a half of my time.
They have talked about this being a conspiracy, but there is no fact whatsoever to this argument. As you're probably familiar, the misconduct by the former chairman and etc. As far as these issues are concerned, we have created an internal team that have carried out robust investigation, and at the same time, outside experts such as law firms. We have retained outside law firm, and this is the result of joint investigation on our part.
Need more hot hatches. Looking for Toyota's announcement regarding
end,
GR.
Mr. Carlos Ghosn fled the country.
Corolla. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be so much fun, and I'll bring you guys.
So the criminal trial was suspended. And the procedure related to the extradition of this person, I understand, is progressing.
I would not spend 32 grand on a CT.
We are not privy to all the facts. But what is important is that with regard to the civil suit, as was reported at the extraordinary session of the General Shareholders meeting recently, with regard to damages, 10 billion yen suit to seek damages was presented to the Yokohama court. And even without the attendance of the person, we can proceed with this procedure. With regard to the criminal trial for Mr. Greg Kelly, yes, there is a delay, but this will be continued, though. This is continuing. So therefore, we believe that a fair decision will be made at that forum.
I said Corolla, I meant to say Civic. Yeah, I meant to say Civic if I said
CEO,
Corolla.
Mr.
You guys know what I meant.
With regard to Mr. Saikawa, the former CEO, we were not.
Roscoe's like, there isn't much info about cars. Well, it was at the very beginning of the shareholders meeting. They talked a lot about cars, and they had a lot of slides. They flew through them really quick. And I think that's what I'm going to make a video on, because this is just
there was no illegality. However, there was a violation of internal rules,
all these
unfortunately.
In Nissan,
so as far as the audit committee is concerned, we ask that he voluntarily return this.
So
and with regard to moral responsibility, this was discussed.
Yeah, I'll have to make a video on the slides they posted earlier
and
that they flew through. They went through real quick for a reason, because they knew that there was a bunch of heated questions waiting
on the part
for
of
them.
Mr. Saikawa, they asked for voluntary return. And also, they also pointed out that there was a moral responsibility. So again, there is no illegality, but because of the violation of the internal rules, he assumed the responsibility, and he voluntarily resigned from the company, and he returned the relevant payment on his own volition. That is all the report. Thank you.
Thank you. However, unfortunately, I'll have to say that your answer,
the GR is
your
truly,
answer
it's
like
very
a little, it's like a First off,
modern day supercar.
Saikawa-san's misconduct,
it's incredible.
Is this included in this audit report talking about ex-chairman and others' misconduct? It says ex-chairman and others.
It's
Does
a one
this
of a kind.
include misconduct by Mr. Saikawa? Could you clarify whether
it's
he's
an amazing
included
video.
or not? But listening to your presentation, it was very unclear. You talk about voluntary return. So is it included or not? It wasn't clear in your answer,
a compilation
at least.
of the roasts.
And
it would be 2 hours long, bruh.
You talk about trust. According to what you explained, it seems like it's about internal trust. That's what you emphasize. How about trust in the market, consumers' trust, or people, general public's trust? How about the trust of the outside world? What is
you
the
didn't know the
source
Lexus
of this trust
HS
of the
existed?
people
I made a
outside the
video on
company?
it.
You
The
didn't talk
Forgotten
about
Lexus.
it much, did you?
Definitely watch it. It's a good watch.
I mean, fundamentally, I don't think Nissan will rectify the root causes as far as you're not aware of the fundamentals, unfortunately. I mean, it may not be too late now. If you do it, start doing it now.
Did I get another donation?
Earlier,
Shaw Michael.
I asked you.
Donated $1.99. I'm so sorry I didn't see that. Holy smokes.
People had a
Shaw,
doubt
if you're still
that
in the
you
chat,
committed a
God
misconduct,
bless you.
like Mr.
I didn't
Gon.
see that. Holy smokes. That
Without
was a long
being
time ago,
invited
too. I don't
to
know
the
how I
board
missed
meeting,
that. Thanks so much for donating.
you're
You're the
suddenly
bomb. I feel bad.
forced
that was probably like 20 minutes ago, and I
detained.
didn't see it. I'm so sorry.
You're imprisoned. You cannot open any press conference.
I'm human.
Will you accept this kind of treatment? I mean, this is one of the reasons for losing the trust of general public or consumers. I want you to answer this clearly, but if not, I will stop here. Sir, you spent more time than what is allocated. Thank you for your opinion. Okay, it has been quite since we started the Q&A session, so we would like to take 2 more questioners, 2 more people. Ticket number 12. Please state your attendance number and then ask your question.
He didn't even answer the question. He's just like, oh, we'll take 2 more.
0091 is my attendance number. Okay, starting with a question for Mr. Uchida. You became CEO of last December, and at the extraordinary general meeting of the shareholders, on May 27th, you announced the Nissan Next Business Transformation Plan. And you talk about prioritization and focus. And looking at the media reports, the details were very unclear.
These roasts are next level, guys.
So, and you said the prioritization focus is
I feel like
core
we're almost
markets, core
watching
products, core technologies.
Capitol Hill
These were the
here in
three key
America, where
areas that
people
you
just
defined.
argue
But this is
back
not very
and
clear.
forth.
I don't get it.
Actually, one side's not even arguing.
So what I mean
they're
here
just taking it. They're just like, okay, next.
is
We'll take the next slap in the face. We don't even know what to do
you
with
are
the
not
company.
building
The
popular
shareholders are
cars.
just
You're not
reeling them.
building cars that people
So
want
sad.
to buy. That's what I mean.
I want Nissan to do
Uchida-san,
well.
my question is as
I want them
follows.
to do well.
After you became CEO, you have been did you ever visit dealers and plants?
What if Toyota went all out and made a GR Camry instead of TRD?
My Nissan car.
Nah, wait, can't no.
I have been owning this car for 7 or 8 years. Before that, I was a
CEO trying to
Toyota
pull
user.
The SpongeBob, I'm a head out, yeah.
And Nissan
Rafi,
dealers employees
thanks
are
for
saying
showing
that
the-
they
Rafi,
don't
you're the
have
man.
cars that they can sell
Goodness
in the
gracious, God
market.
bless you, Rafi.
That's what
Cheers,
Nissan dealers
man. Maybe
people
we'll
are
get some of
saying.
that,
Don't you think? Aren't you
Roku gin
embarrassed?
And have a drink on me.
As
I'd
a
appreciate
representative
that. You're the
executive
freaking bomb.
officer.
Thanks, Rafi. Thanks everyone for
I
watching.
mean, of course you cannot improve
Rafi's just
profitability
leading
in
the way
this
of
situation because you don't
appreciation
have a
here.
car
You
that
guys
people
are
want
amazing.
to buy.
I can't
According to
believe I have a
presentation,
huge-
in
well, I
next
can.
18 months,
I can because this is
you
what I
are
wanted.
delivering
I want
at
to keep
least
growing
12
it. I want to give you guys
models.
better and
That's what
better
you said in your
content.
presentation.
You guys are contributing
Even
and
if
growing
you
an
introduce
amazing
12 models
community
one
based off
after
the
another.
interest of Japanese cars.
And for 10
And
years,
we all
you didn't
love
go
parts
through
of
any
Nissan.
model
It's just sad to see
changes.
them in the state that they're
we
in
haven't
right
seen any
now.
model changes, and you have seen the
But yeah,
results.
thanks, Rafi.
That is why you don't have cars that attract people. And prioritization and focus. Nissan, I thought it should be about EV, which is the strength of Nissan. But you didn't talk much about it, did you?
So
If
harsh.
you look at Toyota, Toyota will be releasing EV, I understand. And for 10 years, Nissan has been selling EV, if I understand correctly. And your sales volume, what's the sales volume of your EV? How much share do you enjoy? Because it's not user-friendly. People are not buying your cars. It's about autonomy. It's about driving range. I think driving range is the issue. So please improve this point.
Joshua, can you
And-
imagine the execs coming home and their significant other saying, "How's the shareholders
At the externally
meeting, honey?
shareholders
How well did it
meeting,
go?" And the exec just
Uchida-san, you
stares at
said
him or her.
that share price
No,
at the
they-
time
they
was
would probably sit down at
494
the
yen per
table,
share.
drink a
On
bunch of
February
gin, a
28th,
bunch of
it
this
was a
Roku
prior
gin
day
here.
of the externally shareholders
Shameless
meeting.
plug. I'm not sponsored
And
by them, but maybe one day.
on the 6th of
We're gonna
April,
sit
it was
down at home after
311
this
yen, which
meeting,
was the
drink a
lowest
bunch of
price.
gin
On Friday,
with a bunch of Sapporo or
it was
Ichibans
408 yen,
and just pass out.
408.60 yen. And I said, you are taking responsibility when
Travis
the
says,
share
"Thanks,
price
Kirk." Well, thank
fall
you.
below 500
Thank
yen.
you
That's
for
what you said
watching.
in the general meeting of the shareholders. So
The
what's your
second round,
reaction now?
number 34,
Thank
the
you.
Baltimore Ravens choose
どうもありがとう
Thank you for your question, sir.
Carlos Gozin.
At the externally shareholders meeting, I remember what I said. I said if
Well,
Nissan's
Mitsubishi's
performance,
probably pulling out of
does
the United
not
States yet. That
improve,
hasn't been official, but
please
probably.
fire me. I said. Please
Dozen
dismiss
rice
me.
balls.
That's
I'm
what I said. And
probably
this
murdering your
policy
name as well,
remains unchanged.
but you're amazing, sir.
It's up to the shareholders
gonna
and
rip a new
customers
one?
to
Yep, yep.
decide. And you asked several
Thought it was
questions.
Too early, so no one liked it.
Nissan Motor. Next month, we are releasing new EV called Aria next month.
Oh, they're talking about the Aria. Shh, be quiet.
Nissan's strength will be demonstrated going forward. And this Nissan Next is a plan that will enable Nissan to deliver strength. But based on the lessons learned, we are rationalizing the size of the organization, production capacity, and ensuring financial discipline. For the time being, we are impacted by COVID-19. Therefore, we are setting forth a challengeable sales volume, and we are aligning our capacity organization to the challengeable sales volume objective and bring Nissan back on growth track. And we have a product pipeline, and this product pipeline will be releasing vehicles going forward. So on July 15th, with the project Minato, in Minato area, we are going to make an announcement of a new model equipped with new technologies of Nissan. So you can count on Nissan.
Nissan July 15th. Well, I'm going to be posting on that. Nissan
So
Ariya, but apparently he's talking about
Moving
some
on
new technology.
to ticket
so.
number 13. Please, excuse me. Hold on. Go back to my
Rafi
question.
donating $10. God
Uchida-san, did you visit your dealership and manufacturing plants? You didn't answer the question.
Will be consumed
Since
later.
I became CEO in December, I went to all the plants in Japan. And I saw dealerships. I went to dealerships. On the 2nd of December, I made an announcement. First, I said I promised to visit the Gemba. Not only myself, but COO Ashwani Gupta-san
this is definitely
went to
more
all the
entertainment
operations
than I
and
thought
plants
was going to be
and listened to the voice of employees and identify the issues and challenge of Nissan and the environment in the past. And after listening to this, we devised the Nissan Next. And what's your opinion? What's your reaction? What's your impression after visiting the location's operations? Naturally, Nissan people are very talented and strong, and they are motivated to make Nissan brand better. And the top management's job is to work together with the employees as a one team. And unless we are working as a one team, we cannot grow Nissan brand and restore confidence of the customers. That's what I rediscovered. And I will carry this out and make it a reality. What I told you is that dealer employees are complaining that they don't have any cars that you can sell. That is why from tomorrow we are starting the sales of Nissan Kicks e-Power. And in the Japanese market, we are releasing new models. In the past,
I really wish we got the
Japanese
Nissan
market,
Kicks
we
e-Power
couldn't launch new models. This is a lessons learned. So going forward, Nissan will change. Nissan will change.
Oh, thanks, Rafi, for the kind words. You're an all-star, man.
New car launches are too late. You're too slow in launching new models. So you have to work very hard here. Otherwise, just like the other questionnaire, in 2 years, Nissan may disappear. Please make sure this doesn't happen. Please work hard. Thank you for your opinion.
You're too slow. You're too far behind.
Okay, ticket number 13. Ticket number 13.
2 years, you're not going to be
us your
around.
attendance number
Thank you for
and
your opinion.
ask your question. 66 is my attendance number. My question is very concise, so I have 4 questions in total. I'll be very short. However, please limit yourself to 1 question per person. My question is very short and concise. Okay, I'll try. By using solar battery, you are connecting Nissan Leaf, and you have to collaborate with housing builders. What's the policy or projection of the global deployment of the collaboration with house builders? This is my first question. And FCV, what's the present situation investment? Some people are trying to freeze the investments or withdraw from FCV, but in China, there's a strong belief in FCV. So EV development in ICE and EV will be limited, or will you work on FCV? And Waymo, you are collaborating with Google and Waymo.
Waymo's automated driving.
This is separate from the development
FCV's
of other
fuel cell
vehicles at
vehicle.
Nissan. There's no report on the progress on this partnership. Where are you today? And I'm sure it's very difficult to resume dividend payout. And do you have any outlook to organize a reception parties after the shareholders meeting going forward?
The longest run-on question I've ever heard.
Yes, as you said. Going forward,
yeah, Joshua, they say limited to 1 question. No one asks 1 question. They have a paragraph that they wrote down beforehand.
After the shareholder meeting,
venting.
We would like to create opportunities where we can interact and receive your comments.
We will get a second EV
and
from
as you
Nissan.
Said, the Chinese
that's,
market.
The Ariya. We got the Leaf and the Ariya. That's all we're going to get.
Of course,
that I know
we
of.
are
I would like to have the
working on
IMK.
e-power
I would
under the
be interested in
strategy
the
of
IMK, the
Nissan
commuter
Intelligent
car,
Mobility. In China, Nissan enjoys
IMS
big
concept to
presence,
replace
so
that
we
Maxima.
can
I gotta
count
look this
on
up.
these efforts. And the rest, solar battery, the collaboration between Nissan Leaf and house builders. Here, Hoshino-san, Could you give details to the extent that we can disclose, or shall we bring it back as a homework?
If you guys want to see what the IMS concept
and for the strategy going forward,
that's what it looks like.
I would like to refrain from making comments on the further
it looks
details.
Great. There's no doubt about it. It looks
within
pretty cool.
the extent that we can disclose, we would like to give you an answer in writing.
That was a mess up in the design.
How about autonomous driving? You have a partnership with Waymo,
cool.
but is it separately developed? We have a MOU with Waymo with regards to the technological development, and this has been announced 2 years ago. And going forward, considering the laws and regulations about autonomous driving in the countries, we are considering what kind of business model we can establish, and we are building a policy now. As you may know, for the autonomous driving or driverless technologies, laws and regulations differ depending on the countries, and not only Nissan, but we are considering partnering with different entities in deploying business. Once we are ready to make an announcement, I would like to communicate the details. Thank you.
Yeah, the translator is legit. I want to buy her a cup of coffee or something. She's
As a full
killing
discussion on the subject matters of this meeting has been carried out, we would like to close the Q&A session and proceed to take a vote on the proposed items. From this point forward, we will only be taking a vote on the proposed items. Please understand that we will not accept any comments, including any motions.
So this was supposed to
now,
end 50
I would like to proceed to take
ago.
a vote on the proposed items. The vote will be based upon your applause and shareholders voting, which occurred prior to the meeting by voting forms and the internet, as well as those who voted by power of attorney. We would like to take a vote on the item, which is election of 12 directors due to expiration of terms of all directors.
You're fine, Tim.
I would like to express your affirmative votes by applause.
She'll be okay. She won't ever know that we said anything about her. But I think all of us would like to meet, not the current translator, she's kind of got a lower voice, she's more like docile. I think we would all love to meet like the high energy, quick speaking one. It'd be a lot of fun.
We have concluded all of the items set out for today's general meeting. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of the shareholders for your serious deliberation and your valuable time. At this time, I hereby declare the closing of this 121st Ordinary General Meeting of Shareholders of Nissan Motor Company Limited.
They're closing the meeting about
Thank you very much for your participation
51 minutes after they're supposed to. He gave a wink. I don't know if you guys saw that.
In order to practice social distancing and prevent many people from gathering around the exit, please remain seated and wait for our staff to usher you before leaving. Let us show you a closing video while waiting. Thank you for your kind cooperation.
Oh, well, guys, they're finishing with the Nissan Next trailer or whatever. So, if you aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, because on July 15th, Nissan's debut in the Aria, I will be covering that, of course. And they're supposed to be, based off this, they're going to be unveiling some new technology on the same date, so we'll see. Thanks for watching. That was definitely more than we were expecting. I really didn't have any expectations. I thought it was going to be a short, like, PowerPoint. But, yeah, the questions got through from the shareholders, and they're more like it was more like a blaming session. Like, what the heck are you doing? You guys aren't going to be around in 2 years. How did you let this happen? Why are your products awful? They're not interesting. They're slow to the market. What about Gozen? You guys just sat back and let him destroy the company, and you guys saw everything that was going on with his embezzling, with his destruction, and what the hell is going on with Nissan? That's what the shareholders meeting was for about 2 hours. That PowerPoint presentation was very short. There's tons of information on it about their loss in profits, or loss in revenue, of course, as well. Sales volumes down. They did blame COVID on this, but everyone's dealing with COVID. Everyone's got to deal with it. You can't use that as an excuse anymore. And yeah, it's interesting times for the company. Who knows where they're going to be in 2 years? Everyone, like, not everyone, but a lot of them are like, you're not going to be around in 2 years at this pace. It's crazy. It's crazy. I am looking forward to July 15th. So yeah, I'll see you guys there on Nissan. But of course, I'll be making other videos in the meantime. I have some ideas coming up, of course, before July 15th. So yeah, crazy. Let me see if I can catch up with your comments. Most of you guys are just saying thanks for streaming, which you're more than welcome. And thanks for tuning in. There are still quite a few of you here. I'm happy to answer a few more questions before I head off to bed tonight. So if you guys want to answer or ask me a couple questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'm going to do webcam full screen. Oh my gosh. I'll give you an idea of my ridiculous studio here. My ghetto projector, or my teleprompter, and then my lights. I can't use, there we go, my lights that are controlled there. So yeah, yep, I have a leopard print blanket to help direct the light at my face during my videos. So nice haircut. Thanks, man. I cut my own hair, so when people tell me nice haircut, that's like a double compliment, because, well, if you guys don't know, that's my birthmark. I was born with that. That's unique to me. That's like the Kirk stamp. But I cut my own hair. So anytime you guys say nice haircut or terrible haircut, it's either like the greatest compliment or the biggest kick in the nether regions. So the sound foam, yeah, and I got more of it, dude. Yeah, that sound foam, because here my office is a room with hardwood floors, hard walls. Like, I had to put in a lot of stuff here to make it sound as decent as, it doesn't sound great, but it sounds far better than it used to when I first moved into this studio here. So Xbox controller, yeah. So I thought about streaming Need for Speed. What's the next, the one I got right now? Need for Speed Heat. I think that's what it's called. I just got that game, and I thought about streaming it after this live stream, but it's too late because that meeting kept going on. So I'll stream that another time. I do love video games. I don't play them very much because I'm too busy making videos, or I'm too busy with work or my family. So yeah, the Supra's on the table still from my last video. Yep. No, it's not a Supra. It's the Mark IV. Come on now. Come on. Inside Edition, Kirk, yeah. What's your day job, if you don't mind me asking? Just curious, is an automobile field, or is it just a side passion of yours? So I actually, as of right now, for the last 2 years, when I started this channel, it was pretty much at the same time I started working for a Lexus dealership. So I actually sell vehicles. I sell Lexus vehicles. There it is. Cat's out of bag. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do it, because I want to devote everything I can to this channel to make it as good as possible. I know I'm able to make incredible vehicles, or incredible vehicle reviews, like a lot of other channels that I look up to and I'm inspired by. I just can't, because of my current situation, being employed by a car dealership. So once I'm free from that obligation, then I'll be able to bring you guys car reviews from lots of manufacturers, improve my content, give you more variety of content, and not just do news like I'm doing right now. I'm very blessed that I'm able to create my channel, build my foundation on, I would say, news. Car news is awesome to me. Everyone loves car news, right? And so I had that idea to roll with my channel for a while, to just do news is good, but I want to do reviews. Reviews gets me excited, and it's so much fun to be able to not only film it, but just give you my impressions of awesome Japanese vehicles. So what do I drive? I drive a Toyota Sienna, and I drive a Toyota Prius. Now, Wait until 50K before going hard on YouTube. Maybe. I don't know. I'm pretty close to going full time. I just don't know. It could be a few months, could be 6. I really don't know. The sooner the better, right? Because I like this. This is my passion. I like selling cars, but I don't like spending so much time away from my family. And if you're in the car industry, family life suffers. And this job not only would allow me to spend more time with my family, but it would allow me to go 100% into my passion, which is providing better content for the channel. So what about Mazda Skyactiv X? Worth waiting for? Is it reliable? I don't know much about Skyactiv X. I actually haven't heard it's very efficient. I haven't heard it's very reliable. But we don't have them here in America yet. So you saw an RCF for 25K. What, did it have like 150,000 miles and 2 accidents on it? That's crazy. How many RXs do you sell in your dealership? Tons. With COVID right now, we're like out of a lot of inventory. NXs are pretty much gone. RXs are pretty much gone. UXs are pretty much gone even. We have a bunch of ISs and GSs. That's the joke. Even most of our ESs are gone at this point. The IS and GS are still there. Why? Because they don't sell anyways. So we have a bunch of them. It's ridiculous. What state? I live in Nebraska. That's any field of retail, not just auto sales. Yeah, retail. Yeah, right. Retail it just owns your life, man. Is that red LFA still at your dealership? No, it sold about 2 years ago for over $800,000, I think. Good morning from Malaysia. Good night from Omaha, Nebraska. LFA at his dealership? What? Yeah, hold on. My first day. I'll show you my first day on the job, guys. If I can find. Hold on. Here we go. Whoa. This isn't a very high resolution picture of it. I have a high resolution picture, but here we go. Let me show you this real quick. So this is one of my first days of work. This is the LFA Nürburgring edition, and it had a red interior as well. It's one of a kind. They only made 50 Nürburgring editions worldwide. We had one at our dealership that was custom made for our owner. This thing was nuts, and it's quite amazing that I got a chance to just be in its presence. Yes, it's a car, but it's an amazing car that's billions of dollars and thousands of man hours poured into this vehicle. So yeah, I was very blessed to just be in its presence. One of my coworkers, he has actually quite a few videos of the vehicle starting up and listening to that V10. I'll get those videos from him eventually and be able to put on the channel for you guys. But it's just it's a perfect vehicle. So did I ever get to drive it? Gosh, I wish. The LFA looks real Japanese supercar with that color. Yeah, it was I think it's the only red Nürburgring edition out there. I think it's the only one. So well, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks so much for coming out to the stream. There's still 60 of you in here. Don't you guys have better things to do? Goodness, I'm just kidding. Thanks for coming out. Would you ever consider having a Discord server? I actually have one. I just never use it. I set up a Discord when I set up my Patreon. I don't know if I'm going to continue my Patreon for forever. And the reason is because it's hard because you have to create your own content specifically for Patreon to provide value. Here's the thing. So yeah, I do have a few Patreons, and if you're in the chat, I freaking love you guys. You're amazing. You inspire me. But there's also a thing on YouTube called memberships, which is the same sort of thing, but it actually enhances the interactions on my channel with emojis and badges and special content through the YouTube channel itself. And I will be unrolling that, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned earlier in the stream, but probably about a month from now. So I'm really, really excited. But yeah, good night, guys. You guys are the bomb, and I'll catch you. I'll be streaming hopefully more in the future. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for coming out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Sienna Symphony, you guys.